Okay, are we rolling? 3, 2, 1, and here we go. Hello, guys. We are back again, and today we have somebody really special. We have Mr. Girish Mistry with us today. Thank you so much for doing this, sir.
Pleasure. Absolute pleasure.
How's it going with you?
So far, so good. Getting cooked in the heat.
Okay.
But otherwise, so far, so good, yeah.
All right. And it took you 1 hour to reach here today.
More than 1 hour, I think. Just 1 hour and few minutes, but yeah, manageable.
But Bombay का traffic काफी बढ़ गया अभी तो.
But वो तो है. I mean, I remember when I used to drive my Fiat to work. I'm talking about 40 years back.
40 years back.
And I live on Marine Drive. So when I used to come out of my lane and get onto the Marine Drive, by that time I was already in the fourth gear and I was driving at 90 plus kilometers.
Wow.
Today 90 plus on Marine Drive is a dream.
Dream.
You're driving in second and third gear.
True, very true.
You know? So yes, traffic is very massive. It's indisciplined.
That's true.
Completely haywire. Somebody wants to go right, comes from the fourth lane. Which is for us unheard of.
But luckily, at least in your area, you don't have auto wallers.
We don't have auto wallers.
So
thank God for
it
that.
saves you a lot of time
Heartburn.
and honesty, and you don't abuse so many people otherwise. But in this side of the city, of course, we have so many autos. But I love autos. At the same time, I also don't understand why they drive the way they drive, right?
They're in a hurry and then they still rich late. So I don't know what the whole thing is all about.
That's true. Very true.
So it's little like someone's going to give them a gold medal or something like that for reaching first. You know?
But ऐसा भी नहीं time बचाएंगे या फिर पैसा बचाएंगे.
कुछ नहीं. And they're looking straight, so they're not even saying कि नीचे खड्डा है, ये है, वो नहीं. देखो धड़ाम ऊपर से जाते हैं. So sometimes you wonder is how healthy are they? How healthy is their
mentality? Is.
It's just crazy. But then that's what life. Mumbai is like that. Jugaad.
पूरा जुगाड़ पे चलता है.
They somehow manage. And they work. So they become indispensable for people who don't have the better modes of transport.
True.
But Bombay, what happens is we still have fast speeds. They will die there. They will just die here.
They'll definitely die otherwise.
The one good decision government did was kept it on Bandra onwards and not anywhere near that place.
That's true. But I've heard that I think they might also remove autos from Andheri side also. I'm not sure if that's a real good news or is it a true news also. But I've heard from few people that they might remove them from Andheri side, Bandra side and Jewel side also.
Well,
is that possible? Do you think that's possible?
Well, I don't know. It is only possible if the other forms of transports are brought in. That means like metro and the underground trains and all. If they come in, then if the people have an alternative, then they might not go for that.
Okay. True, very true.
You know what I mean? Because today the problem is that the alternative transports are not there.
It's just the train which is properly running.
Only thing that's running.
And metro is also not yet completely
It's totally packed.
It's totally packed.
But
the metro is totally packed. जितना भी route है बहुत packed ही है.
But that's what I'm saying. क्या बोले? It took a long time before people thought about this alternative infrastructures. Finally, it's happening. So I'm glad for that. अब final imprint कभी पता चलेगा जब everything is in place. Right now, anywhere you go, something is being dug up.
Yeah, construction is going full throttle everywhere.
Yeah, it's crazy.
But you have seen Bombay completely clean, neat, empty roads to this.
Municipality used to come and wash the roads in the morning and the evening.
Wow, क्या बात कर रहे हैं?
Yeah, they used to wash the roads. They're that clean. Today,
hardly anything.
No.
पूरा गंदगी में भरेला है.
Literally. And people used to have discipline. Lal signal hai, forget lal signal. Even if there's a yellow signal, people would stop. We were trained that yellow signal dekha matlab take your foot off the accelerator. You know? But today, they try to run the yellow.
Yes.
Okay, before it goes red, I want to break. I want to go through, and that is
scary.
Very scary because you just see somebody going crazy. I was sometimes if you gadi nahi hai say. Driver nahi hai, whatever. So go by taxi and you'll suddenly find this guy goes to the yellow was halfway in the middle of it. When you have a very big junction, he's hardly halfway, and then there are cars coming from other side, and he's standing like a nutcase in the middle of nowhere, And then there is this classic conversation that happens with the cop and him. ऐसे हम क्या करेगा, हम तो सिग्नल पे नहीं था, ऐसा था, मजा आता है. That's Mumbai.
होता है तीसरे बंदे के लिए.
Yeah, that's Mumbai.
Amazing. ठीक है, so I think क्या बोलते हैं, let's talk about photography since
Sure.
you have seen the photography world properly in Bombay. When did you start photography?
Professionally or commercially, 1980.
1980s.
So it's about 42 years now.
But did you study photography somewhere before?
Before that, I had studied in under a teacher called Bailey Homji.
Okay.
He was in Photographic Society of India, but I had gone to his own class at his house.
Oh.
And he was the one who gave me my basics.
Okay.
Then, of course, I learned under Mitra Bedi.
Okay.
He is the guy who drove me nuts about looking at details.
And he was based out of Bombay?
Kulaba, yeah.
Kulaba.
Okay. He was a legend at that time.
Right.
One of the few Indian photographers whose work was featured in the Hasselblad calendar.
Wow.
So, guy was up there, basically. So I learned under him.
He was into portraits of?
No, he was into industrial and corporate.
Oh, nice.
So it was a very different ball game. I used to enjoy working with him.
Of course.
So that's where I learned it from. And then I also went and did one apprentice photography course in JJ School of Art, but I ended up teaching the teachers in that place. And then I got a chance to go to US, Rochester. The Eastman Kodak facilities.
Okay.
And that's where I spent about 6 to 7 months because they took my Viva.
Okay.
And they found out that my knowledge of photography was huge.
Okay.
So then they said, then why have you come here since you know everything? I said, yeah, I know theory, everything I know. But I need to know also practically, that is my lighting, techniques, everything. So then they realized that this guy only needs that. And it was a pressure from the Kodak company also. Because the Indian boss and the, what do you call it, Western, they have this thing, what? Asia Pacific chief.
Okay.
That time was Tony Weston.
All right.
And he's the guy who put pressure that I want this kid to know what we need him, because we need him there. And that's when they brought the best educationists from they put me into Rochester College itself, the institute.
Wonderful.
And for special classes and all thing. So that was like a workshops, long drawn out workshop which we did for about 6-7 months. When I came back.
And you were only alone from India?
At that time, yes. The others whom did come from India were on the degree course, the 4 or 5 year course.
Okay.
Well, I did the short thing. So when I came back, very few formally trained photographers. So we got overnight success because we could shoot anything and everything. There was no guesswork in our shoots.
Okay.
And वो ज़माना था transparencies का.
Okay.
So the error margin was 1/3 stop either ways, and because of which your shoot could get rejected because, of course, we used to back it up by bracketing the shots. So ek to mile karke.
Ek to milega.
Yeah. But that was the transparency days where we used to shoot back. There was no computer का तो जन्म भी नहीं हुआ था.
At least photography में तो नहीं हुआ था.
Nah, even there was a MS DOS.
On computers.
Yeah, so that is like, you can't really do anything.
Of course.
So we used to shoot to kill. That means when we shoot, there is no requirement for back end.
Okay.
So the detailed lighting, the detailing in the entire shot, the way we used to rig up the shot was on an extreme levels.
Okay.
Which today's people are not doing. Today people think that, Photoshop hai na karke. And most people in India don't understand one thing, is that photography is a business. It's a professional business. So what happens is, you have to see, जो हम लोग हिंदी में बोलते हैं ना, आवक और जावक, मतलब what comes in, what goes out.
What goes out.
Right? So it's like income and expenses. So this is something which they are not really understanding, that you need to check out nitty-gritty. When I talk to my students at Shari, and when I talk to them about how to charge a client, and when I start enumerating the number of खर्चा that we have to do before we can complete a shot. And then suddenly say, sir, आप ये चीज़ भी करते हैं क्या? आप ये भी गिनते हैं? ऐसे तो कौन गिनेगा? खर्चा तो है ना. I'll give one simple example. You have somebody, you got an assistant. Yeah? Now you shot, हम लोग के ज़माने में film. So like in 2 days you will have the pen drive. Anyway, so what would happen? I'll shoot the film, right? Then I have to send my guy to the processing house. Processor के पास भेजो. Like you would send it to the back end guy. Right? Luckily you can send it by V-transfer. But हमारे ज़माने तो आदमी भेजते थे. वो जाएगा आएगा. So I'm looking at two things there. I'm a गुजू भाई, so I look at money also. No? So what happens is that उसका पगार कितना है? तो if I'm paying him $10,000 or $9,000, तो दिन का कितना हो गया? तो अगर दिन का उसका how much would it come to? Even if I'm spending say $500 or something like that. So if he goes and comes back in 2 hours, then I have to divide that much money. So उतना पैसा जाने को गया, आने को गया, बराबर है. प्लस वो ट्रेन में गया, बस में गया, टैक्सी में गया, तो उसका खर्चा अलग. So then that is, it goes one way, right? After processing it goes again and then come back again.
तो फिर डबल खर्चा हो गया उसका.
So 4 times it is spent. So, are you understanding my wavelength here?
Yeah.
So that was how we have been trained to look at kharcha. That like it happens every day. Him going down getting chai, right? He spends 15 minutes or 20 minutes or half an hour. Yeah. Kharcha hua. You understand? So we have to look at all that spend. Once you start doing that, you find out that every click that you do is extremely expensive.
True, very true. And plus transparency time, film
was very expensive.
It was very expensive.
It was expensive. But at the same time, today's digital is not free.
It's not free.
You spend 5 lakh on a camera or 4 lakhs on a camera or whatever, and it has 1.5 lakhs shutter cycle or 2 cycles or 2 lakhs or something. Simply divide the amount you paid by the cycle, and you'll find that each click is costing you $2 or $3. Right? Now, it depends. आपने खुद के पैसे से लिए तो लॉस ऑफ इंटरेस्ट है. अगर खुद के पैसे से नहीं लिए, आपने बैंक के पैसे से लिए, तो उधर इंटरेस्ट तो आना ही आना है. Right? So when you start looking at the cumulative expenses and like the प्यून का खर्चा, इलेक्ट्रिसिटी का खर्चा, ये वो दो गिने, तो वो एक क्लिक जो है, it will go to 30, 40, 50, $100. So if you shoot 2,000, 3,000 images, how much have you already spent?
We already spent a lot of money in that.
Yes, sir. You
That's
spend
like
$9,000 you already spent. So if you are going to say करने, उसने आपको 20,000 बोला, मैं 15 में करके देता हूँ, बराबर है. तो 10
पैर में खुद ही कुल्हाड़ी मार रहे हो करने
तो क्योंकि देखिए इसने 9,000 तो फुकट में उड़ गया, खुद की जेब से गया उसमें, बराबर है. और ये रिजल्ट लेके आया, ये brought the result. Then 2,000 मारा, देना था 200. Then what happens is culling it, is spending time on इसको निकालो all that thing ना. So culling में पाया टाइम जाता है. उसके बाद जो उसने सिलेक्ट किया, शॉर्टलिस्ट थोड़ा हुआ, तो उसको वो बैक एंड करता है. So that thing goes on for 2, 3, 4, 5 days. Do you know what is the biggest complaint by the customers in wedding photography?
What?
That most photographers don't deliver the albums on time. कभी शादी के 1 साल 2 साल के बाद देते हैं. Some of them people. Some of them do
that. I've heard a lot, yes.
Yeah. So now उतने में तो बच्चा हो जाता है यार, या डिवोर्स भी हो जाता है. You understand? So the question here is very simple. तुमने उसको बनाने के लिए 4 दिन 5 दिन लगा है, तो आपने जो अगर 5,000 भी कमाया, तो 5,000 आपने एक दिन में नहीं कमाया, आपने ये सब दिन जो स्पेंड किया, you divide that. Hardly you made this chiller. You know? So photography is not about only costing. Yeah? Because इस costing में आप बोलो कि आपका क्रिएटिव फी कहाँ गई? एज अ प्रोफेशनल फोटोग्राफर
मेंटेनेंस का भी खर्चा निकलना चाहिए. मतलब कल को अगर आपका कैमरा खराब हो गया,
खुद की तबीयत खराब हो गई, तो क्या करेगा?
आई थिंक मोस्ट ऑफ द टाइम तो आई लाइक most of my friends I know they don't even have health insurance.
They don't.
Medical insurance.
Most of them don't. Yeah.
Most of them they don't. तो मतलब and my question has always been like that only, that अगर कल तेरा एक्सीडेंट हो गया तो फिर उसका ऑपरेशन का खर्चा कौन निकालेगा? चल निकल गया, उसके बाद जो तेरा 6 महीने का जो बेड रेस्ट है कौन देगा?
Exactly.
तेरे पापा मम्मी इतने पैसे वाले हैं? और है तो do you think it's good for you to make them spend that much money or you?
अरे उनका लाइफ का सेविंग है. उन्होंने क्या सोचा था कि इतने पैसे से मैं मेरा जब बुढ़ापा होगा मैं उस पर जुगा रहेगा. आई विल बी एबल टू लिव फ्रॉम दैट मनी. और देन दैट मनी गोज इनटू दिस गाइस दिस बिकॉज़ ही स्क्रूड अप. या तो नाउ both the sides are in trouble.
Both of them are.
Because that guy is now going to look at मैं अभी क्या करूँ? Where am I going to eat from? You know, no, but this is what I'm trying to say. This is what these cartoons are not understanding, that this is not about children. This is a very expensive profession. Okay? That is why they say, no, photography, camera doesn't make the picture. The photographer that makes the picture. Right now, what is happening? 90% of the guys program mode पे shoot कर रहे हैं. बराबर है? The biggest joke, you see, I have been a brand ambassador for a lot of people, and I have to always argue. तुम हमेशा features लाता है, fancy features, and you charge a bomb. वो फोटोग्राफर को अक्ल भी नहीं है वो फीचर्स के बारे में.
नहीं है. काफ़ी लोगों को मालूम ही नहीं रहता सेटिंग्स में है क्या.
90%, more than 90% don't know it. So when we do our workshops in mofussil areas, you know, गाँव खेड़े करते हैं, तो वो लोग जब उनको बोलते हैं कि ये होता है, you know, तो सर ये हमको नहीं पता था.
हमको ये आता ही होता, मतलब उतना काम भी आता जो छोटे मोटे फीचर्स जो देखे जिसकी अपन बात कर रहे थे. Hardly.
Professional like us use it once in a blue moon.
Like I've never used program or aperture priority or shutter priority mode at all in my life.
हमारे ज़माने में it was hardcore. See, we were the guys who used medium format and large format. Very rarely we used to use the 35. So for us, it was hardcore manual photography. You know, and reading. Like today, people don't even buy.
Yeah, they don't buy.
Don't buy the meter.
They don't.
You know, there was a photographer.
ज़रूरत नहीं है ना आज के डेट में. हाँ? ज़रूरत ही नहीं है ना आज के डेट में.
अरे क्या ज़रूरत नहीं है यार. This you just don't understand. You see, the camera manufacturers, they say there's a dynamic range of 14 stops and 13 stops. You know, they talk about all that. वाह क्या मजा आता है. Yeah, but तेरा printing का dynamic range क्या है?
गंडा गोल.
It's less than 2.
It's less than 2.
It's less than 2 stops. So then what happens? All that 14 stops कहाँ गया? बिकॉज दिखता तो नहीं है इसमें.
प्रिंट नहीं.
प्रिंट में कहाँ दिखते? बट मोस्ट ऑफ देम सी एट द बैक, नो, ऑन अ स्क्रीन विच इज पैथेटिक. एक सिंपल सा चीज़ है. एनी ऑफ दिस ताइवानीज, जापानीज, नॉट जापानीज, क्या बोलते हैं, चाइनीज मॉनिटर्स, व्हाई दे कॉस्ट $5,000-6,000 वर्सेस
जापानीज और यूरोपियन कंपनीज.
जापानीज और यूरोपियन, बैंक्यू है अपना, ईजो है.
ईजो तो बहुत महंगा पड़ता था.
हाँ, पर दैट इज द वन विच यू नीड ना. दैट इज द वन विच यू नीड. सो बट दैट इज व्हाट आई एम सेइंग. हाउ डू यू एफोर्ड? तो चिल्लर चार्ज करेगा तो वहाँ तो पहुँचेगा ही नहीं ना.
सही बात है. बट लोग पैसा देते भी तो नहीं है सर आज के रेट में.
क्वेश्चन हियर इज दिस, व्हाट डू यू मीन बाय पैसा नहीं देता है? आदत कौन डाला उसको?
डाला तो तुम नहीं है, तो भुगतना ही तुमको पड़ेगा.
सीधी बात है. Do you understand what I'm saying? So they don't what they simply don't understand is that this is a business which is to be really, really calculated in microeconomics.
Okay.
Because of which, then only they can decide कि मुझे इतना पैसा चाहिए. Because you know, like you said, insurance नहीं है, equipment का insurance नहीं है, चोरी हो गया क्या करेगा?
कुछ नहीं कर सकते.
हाँ, I was seen. I was at Red Fort. You know, and you know there's one area where you can look down onto the grounds and नीचे वो मदारी लोग बैठते. You know, वो कोई भालू लेके बैठा है, कोई you know कोई मैजिक ट्रिक कर रहा है, whatever. And there's this character who got so excited. You know, मेरे बाजू में खड़ा था और उसने लेंस चेंज किया to see it. The moment he changed the lens, I didn't hear the click. You know, and I just turned because I knew that he did not do this. You know, and अपने तो इंस्टिंक्ट है कि बरसों से किया है,
कोई आवाज़ नहीं है.
So I turned around very quickly, but too late. He did this, and then he's seeing that lens going down, you know, and then it lands ठचाक करके ऐसे in all pieces, and then you see his face. I felt so sad for that person.
Of course.
You know, उसको पानी आ गया आँख में.
It hurts.
It hurts like
because you know the price.
Exactly.
You know the price and worth.
Exactly. But these guys have not been taught safety, nothing. वो गला में खाली तू क्या बोलते वो स्टेप तो लगा यार, you know, पर नहीं करते. फिर गिरता टम टम टम, मजा आता है.
मजा आता है.
और क्या करने का? What would you tell these guys? You know?
Oh God.
It happens in my school with some of my students. Yeah.
But do you get irritated when they don't know the basics of camera, like how to hold a camera?
No,
Or-
in Shari we start from zero.
Acha. Whether you know, you don't know, you don't care. Start from zero.
Most of them, especially those guys who have done some photography, you know, आते हैं 15 साल से करता हूँ फोटोग्राफी में, वाह वेरी नाइस. Irrespective of what I do, वेडिंग फोटोग्राफी करता हूँ या मेरा मास्टर क्राफ्टमैन डिप्लोमा है या फिर मेरा फैशन डिप्लोमा है, वट एवर आई डू, इट स्टार्ट्स विद जीरो. कैमरा पहले पकड़ने को सीख, you know, before you start. When we start the basics, and we come to things like lenses and aperture and ISO and shutter and then that's the standard thing. And then I'm looking at the guy who said मैं 15 साल से शूट कर रहा हूँ, फिर वो आके बोलते सर ये तो मुझे नहीं मालूम था. मैं बोलता 15 साल किया क्या तू? What did you do? ऐसे नहीं, मगर इतनी बारीकी में से कोई नहीं गया था. Nobody taught us in such a lot of depth, you know. But that's the difference. That's the difference. These people, I have a problem with the brands is this. See what happens is when you take your brand ambassadors, all of them go all over the place and you show them the camera. And that's one thing which I hate personally. Because when I was a brand ambassador, they said, आपको कैमरा बताने का, उसका फीचर बताने का, मैं सॉरी,
वो सब तो नहीं
वो मैं नहीं करने वाला हूँ. मेरा हाथ में कैमरा तो मैं शूट करके बताऊंगा उनको. And because of which मैं now was thrown out of one of them. Okay. That's okay. The question here was very simple. That those guys will come, talk about the features of the camera, show them their work, click quickly, you know, and then bugger off. What did the guy who was buying the camera like? वो जो बैठा वहाँ पे, वो सीखा क्या?
कुछ नहीं सीखा, उसको बस कैमरा का सेटिंग मालूम पड़ गया.
कुछ भी नहीं मालूम है. कुछ भी नहीं मालूम है. You understand what I'm saying?
I get it.
So no serious effort has ever been made to educate a girl. See, you got to understand one thing. When I introduced the front projection system in this country, you know, so as a corporate guy, as a company which is manufacturing a photography equipment which is costing an X amount of money, very expensive. This was a machine which used to project from the front, but it will put the background only behind you. आपके ऊपर नहीं आएगा.
Wow.
It was a terrific technology. स्लाइड फिल्म, स्लाइड लगानी है अपनी ट्रांसपेरेंसी, वही स्लाइड आपके पीछे आ जाती है,
बैकग्राउंड में आ जाएगा.
बैकग्राउंड जो आज ये लोग क्रोमा की करते हैं.
क्रोमा की करते हैं.
राइट, आई डिड इट.
You're talking about optical snoot?
No, it's a beam splitter technology.
Okay.
You know.
So you put a film inside and then you project it in the background.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then the background itself was is made of glass beads, glass beads.
Okay.
So like I see, you're thinking you're a photographer, okay? कैसे किया? But it's blooming science. Now, how do I expect to sell in a country like India a 6 or 7 lakh worth of machine equipment to an unparalleled guy who doesn't?
When was this? Which year was this?
85.
6 lakh rupees, 85 Mayur.
Yeah.
It must
Because
be.
the damn background was very expensive.
Very expensive. मतलब आज के
Yes,
तो
but we sold
करोड़ों हो
a
जाएगा.
heck of a lot of them.
Okay. Wow.
Heck of a lot
Who
of
bought
them.
these? What kind of people
Studios.
bought?
Studios bought it. But why it went, I went personally to every Mung Professor library all over the country and I showed it to them, I trained them. That's why my products went. People used to wonder, sir, ये 6 लाख में कौन लेगा? मैं बोले जाता है. You know, but that's because I went. And that's when people started telling me, you're teaching so good, why don't you start Shari?
Achha, that's how Shari came up.
That's how.
When did you start Shari though?
91.
Okay.
In 91. What happened was 1990, July 4th, American Independence Day. And I got up in the morning and I couldn't walk.
Wow.
That's it. No accident, no bimari, shimari, kuch nahi tha. See what happens is when you're young, when you're young and you're a martial artist, right? So you've got a massive, nice, big body.
Big body.
Right? Tough guy. So you think you're Superman. So you're working from sometimes 5 o'clock in the morning right up to 12:31 in the night, and every day, and including Saturday, Sundays and stuff. So because you think you can take it, your body can take it, you know. But वो ज़माने में बिस्लरी वाटर नहीं था,
रोड का पानी था,
तो lead poisoning बोल. Then yeah, in those days the pipes were lead. Today we have PVCs, so that the lead का pipes था. Then you eating any crap on the road, you know, because and you don't even know, because once you are inside the factory you don't even know lunch कभी हुआ, डान बाहर निकलते बोला अंधेरा क्यों है.
हाँ ऐसे ही होता है, मालूम ही नहीं पड़ता है.
अंधेरा क्यों है, बोले सर क्या सर आपने हमको भूखा मार दिया है ना. So I used to have 2 teams of assistants, because अगर 9 बजे किसी साइट में पहुंचना है wherever at नवा शिवा or any of the factories or something, तो I would be that .9. So if I have to leave here at my house at about 6:30, 7:30, 8, I have to do that. But by the time रात होता था तो हमारे बच्चे लोग की विकेट गिर जाती थी. My assistants.
Of course.
So they would take a break. The other team comes with me the next day, unless I need a continuity. You know. But then I was a constant factor. So I worked too hard at that time, and because of which my immune system went down. So when you have a common cold, your body normally throws it out in 7 days. But if your immune system is down, it stays and it does damage. So it shot my motory nerves, which is at the last tip of the spinal cord, from my lower half, and that's it. Became a handicap. And then I didn't know what to do, because though I could go, at least I got back into a sitting position. That time they did not have.
Was it bad in this? Like you couldn't even sit at that time?
No, initially I was flat on my bed. चाय पीना है, दवाई पीना है, तो पीछे से 2 जन उठाएगा मेरे को, मुंह में डालेगा, again back like that. It started with that.
Okay.
And in those days, though I had got the best doctors and surgeons with me, but they had not much knowledge about GBS, which is Guillain-Barré syndrome. Today they tell me कि सर अभी आज होता था तो आपको 6 महीने के अंदर खड़ा कर देते थे वापस. ठीक है. Now it's about 32 years on my Rolls Royce, which I, you know. So when this happened and I didn't know what to do, suddenly now I'm no longer 6 feet. Suddenly I cannot climb the chimney or climb a mountain to shoot from top or whatever.
Things what you love doing the most.
Which I used to love. I mean, like, traveling was my woe, you know. I mean, that was life.
Of course.
To travel. Now 30 years old, prime age, suddenly can't walk, can't go to the loo on your own, literally. So you had to have somebody who would take you there. And all. Initially, there were no wheelchairs that were designed for loo and all. And we had to sit and design and tell the guy and say, "Bhai, aisa bana ke do." They made it for us, and it's now working for us. And now they are selling it to people like me, you know. So I didn't know what to do. So then some of my photographer friends, Ian and PC Dubash and all of the guys, they said, "Girish, tu formally trained hai. You shot for more than a decade, and you have the gift of the gab. Why don't you try teaching?" You know. So I said, "ठीक है." And they had already seen me doing the front projection ka workshop and all. So they said, "Do it." So I tried, you know. So I tried and I got about, I think, 8 kids. 8 people came in for that workshop, and इसमें से 2 जन, I had bought 2 phones.
Okay.
वो तभी मालूम ना वो cordless निकले थे. 2 of the students were into supplying that kind of stuff. So the payment for fees was in form of a phone. Yeah, and the rest paid, and that was, I think at that time it was $5,000 for 6 days.
Wow.
You know, and I could see, you know, because I can see from the face, they don't know what a Bombay ka tapori सिखाएगा नहीं सिखाएगा, you know, and 6,000 रुपया दिया है, 5,000 रुपया दिया है. So then I started the workshop, and first day I can see that they are all tense, And second day when the lighting happened, you can see them relaxing. Third day, smile happens. Fourth day, they start joking with each other, And then fifth day, they start joking with me. So you can see the I could see the transformation that was happening as I did my workshop. That I was actually making people happy. I was by the last day, they were like saying, "Sir, cha ke abhi hum phodenge," that kind of stuff. I said, God bless. No hassles on that part. So, in those zamana, if you're talking about, see, if I had got 7 kids, 2 of them were phones, so 5. For the $25,000 I made on 1 week. So I said, this is reasonable money I'm making, just like I was making for my, as a photographer. I mean, much less than, because I was making, even in 80s, I was charging, 18, 20 grand for a day.
Days. That was a lot back then.
Lot of money. But like I told you, we were the few Firang photographers. So, So I thought maybe this is my calling, because if I can make itna stressful world mein agar मैं किसी का face का expression from tenseness to happiness बदल सकता हूँ, I thought God has given me a nice vocation. And I got excited and I said, okay, fine. So within the next month again we launched for another workshop, and that time I got 2 people.
How did you promote yourself there back then?
At that time we had this क्या बोले
Newspaper?
Better Photography magazine and all that thing were there.
Achha.
Yeah, and we had a few batch. I used to take part in the photo fair.
Okay.
And things like that, so people would know
From
generally. And luckily I had a damn good name, because like I told you, मैं वो machine लेके औरंगाबाद, नगर, पुणे, सांगली, सतारा, कोल्हापुर, मैं तो सब जगह पे घूमा हूँ, including south, north, east, सब जगह पे. तो already people knew कि सिखाता है.
Okay.
So there was a reasonable.
You already had your brand.
I already had, a little bit.
Okay.
So that worked for me. So I had only 2 students here, and whatever I earned in the first one, I had to spend in the second one. So I basically ended up zilch, 0, no money, and I said, now what to do? So dar के मैंने वापस एक तीसरा workshop किया. तो एक ही बंदा है, And the first gut reaction of a Guju bhai is, भैया आप pack up करके चले जाओ, मेरे को अभी afford नहीं होना. He had a tear in his eye, and I said, what happened? The guy was white shirt पहना था, white pant पहना था, but he was dirty.
Okay.
गंदा था, मतलब dirt लगा था उसको. I said, why are you so messy? He said, I come by train, I had no reservation. मतलब he spoke in broken Hindi कि हम train में आया, but so he was sleeping outside the toilet, and he's come all the way from Kerala से आया है. So I said, yes, I appreciate that, but I don't know what to do, because you're a single person and you'll be giving me 5 grand, but I'll be spending 15-20 grand, because model ये वो सब कुछ करना, तो मुझे खर्चा करना पड़ेगा. And I'm telling him, he had this tear in his eye, and I'm telling him, what is your problem? So he said that, sir, I have mortgaged my house, I mortgaged my wife and my mother's jewelry, just so that I can come here and learn from you.
Wow. सिखाने पड़ेगा. फिर?
Well, I did it 1-to-1 with the guy, and ended up spending my money. But last day I was very happy. Touched my feet and all that thing. But that is because India, how the guru thing is. Few years after that, I was at one of the photo fairs, and I had this guy standing next to me. He's a fat little guy wearing white shirt, white pant again. First I couldn't recognize, but I could see he looks familiar. He got a big smile on his face. I said, I know you from somewhere. Then he told me, you remember Kerala, one workshop with 1 man? I said, yeah. Me. Oh, I said, fantastic. So then I looked at his tummy. I said, you must be doing well. I touched his stomach and I said, hey, you must be doing well. He says, 2 houses, I have cars, wife and children here. They come. The wife and kids came and touching my feet. Wife had a baby in her hand. She put it in my arms, in my lap, and she said, "Namkaran." Matlab, you give the child a name.
Wow. Beautiful. What did you name the kid? Did you name the kid?
Yeah, because they would not budge unless I do it.
Okay.
So I asked him, what is the Rashi? He said, K. I said, Krishna. Ayyo, Krishna. So they're very happy. So you never know. You see, the returns are not only money.
The returns in very, very different ways.
Yeah, there are blessings. There are so many different things that happen to you in life. Today I go anywhere in the world, I have somebody there to look after me. So आप touch करो उसके बाद we'll take care. It's literally like that. I've gone to, I think, what was it? Aurangabad, Nashik.
Okay.
And the press photographers surrounded me, and they were asking me that, sir, what do you think about press photographers? So I said, these are the original heroes. ये हमारे, if I take photographers as an army, then you are the frontline guys. So he said, sir, how do you say that? I said, देख यार, if अगर मैं ऐश्वर्या राय को शूट करता हूँ, तो मेरे पास एयर कंडीशन स्टूडियो है, पूरी मेकअप टीम है, स्टाइलिस्ट की टीम है, ये टीम, वो टीम, ये टीम, लाइट बॉयज, ये, हाँ, I can make her look like a princess, not an hassle at all. It's not even an effort to do it. I have the state-of-the-art equipment and everything. आप लोग जब जाते हैं, जब गोलियां चल रही है, हाँ, गाड़ी के ऊपर आग लगाई जा रही है, सब इतना, उसके बीच में आप घुस के फोटोग्राफ करते हैं, बस, you are
the real heroes.
Yeah. So they were happy. They were very happy. And they said, sir, आप इतना सिखाते हैं, आप सब जगह पे जाते हैं, you go, don't you feel that as a single person, how do you do all this? I said, I'm not single. Every one of you is my hand. So that time, jokingly I told them, मेरा सहस्त्र भुजा है, all over the country. So teaching for us was a very different thing. In Shari especially. Shari, by the way, is my parents' name.
Okay.
Yeah, it's Sharda and Hari.
Oh.
So a lot of people think that it is a foreign name, but it's not.
Even I thought the same.
Ekdam desi naam hai, Sharda and Hari. Harkishan Das.
Okay.
So that's a tribute to my parents. And for us, what we have been able to do is we have seeded the country with so many photographers, so many. 32 years now
of course.
Of Shari. तो खाली महाराष्ट्र में एक ये उद्धव जी आए थे in one of our exhibitions, and I showed him the list. ये खाली महाराष्ट्र में मेरे पास 25,000 students निकले हैं. He was shocked. He said, एवढे? मैं बोला हो. किया क्या है? ये सीखा है. That's what I've done. So initially it started with workshops. Okay. And then we started getting into, because a lot of inquiries started coming. पहले wedding था, portraits था, studio portraits and all that thing. And then people started saying, sir, हमको industrial भी करना है, हमको fashion भी करना है, हमको jewelry करना है.
So you brought everything together.
So we brought it and we made it into a proper course.
What kind of photography were you doing? Were you into?
Well, in those days, mostly I was into corporate industrial. Okay. But my main forte was that I was in FX.
What is FX?
Special effects.
Okay.
So I was one of the few people who could make things fly in the air and create lightning and everything, and in a shoot and in a shot and all that. Multiple exposures also. So on my 35mm Nikon camera, I have 18 multiple expose किया हुआ है.
Wow. कैसा?
Yeah, तो अभी you to see what is to do is to take a OHP paper, overhead projector paper, transparent paper. I would stick it onto the viewfinder. Now viewfinder पे नहीं चिटकता क्योंकि viewfinder ऐसा है, round, right? So what you have to do is you have to take the lens off. ऐसा करेगा तो you can see the focusing screen.
Okay.
ऐसी है ना, क्योंकि नीचे mirror है.
हाँ. Yes, right.
Right? So you can see this guy from. तो उसके ऊपर चिटकाने का.
हाँ.
So So when I see it, I can see my image. So then I know किसको कहाँ placement करना है.
Okay. Wow.
Right? So we used to do this on large format, normally. Large format and medium format.
उसमें possible है फिर भी.
उसमें possible था, इसमें possible नहीं था. मैंने
जुगाड़ निकाला.
somebody challenged me and I said, मारेगा. And he did it. And I did it. I did 18 exposures.
When was this?
Oh, yeah. This must have been what? Early 80s?
Nice.
Early 80s.
But back then, like when you used to shoot like you used to shoot a lot in transparency.
Totally.
Right? So like, didn't you have these? Then how would you know that this is the perfect picture? Would you check it on a Polaroid first? Did you have the Polaroids then back then?
Yes, I was the first guy. In fact, when I first started, I came in the film line. And in film line, people, big names now, were twin lens cameras.
Twin lens camera, yeah.
And I was there with the Mami RB67 putting out a Polaroid like that.
Oh, yeah.
You know, immediately. So, overnight success. But I was not comfortable in that line.
Okay.
I would prefer more order, more discipline, more organized compared to film. Film is crazy. You know, that whole business is very different. Very different.
Okay.
So, I couldn't last much. So, I mean, I did very well. I was overnight success. But preferred to go into the corporate. Corporate has always been a damn good business.
Okay.
Even today, all the businesses, fashion से लेके wedding से लेके जितने भी up down ये steady है. Because धंधा उधर होता है.
पर इधर लोग भी बहुत कम है ना.
बहुत कम है. आना because नहीं उसमें क्या ना उसमें वो प्रोग्राम वाला नहीं चलता ना.
मेहनत चाहिए ना, दिमाग चाहिए.
Solid दिमाग चाहिए. First thing first is to understand कि production line क्या है. What is going to be next? What is the next process? I mean, we originally belong from an industrial house. अपने को तो मालूम है. देख के पता चलता है कि क्या है करके. You know. So it was very easy for me. Taking portraits. I was very good at portraits. I still can take super black and white portraits. Okay. You know. That's something you cannot forget. Though initially I came in with a fine art background. Okay. So I was a fine art photographer. But in India, आज भी फाइन आर्ट का कोई इतना इम्पोर्टेंस नहीं है. तो तभी तो बिल्कुल नहीं था.
इंडिया में तो आर्टिस्ट का इम्पोर्टेंस नहीं है. तो
आर्टिस्ट का एग्जैक्टली
फाइन आर्ट तो सेकेंडरी हो गया. आर्टिस्ट का इम्पोर्टेंस होना चाहिए.
In fact, in that day, in those days, you won't believe it, but using multiple, because I was a special effects guy, I can make things, do crazy things. I was into pyrotechnics, everything. बहुत धमाल किया है मैंने. खुद का प्रॉफ बनाने का सब कुछ. See, हम लोग जुगाड़ वाले थे, but we used to work with our hands. You know, when you're working with the best art directors in the country, these are not people who come like today. When you come with a stupid reference from Pinterest or some stupid thing, you say, "Hey, ऐसा मानने का नहीं." You look at it and look at it, what the hell is wrong with you? I won't name the agency, but I'll tell you what. चाय का शॉट लेना था. ये बंदे ने उड़ाया होगा. कहाँ से? इंटरनेट में से लाया. ला के डाल दिया मेरे सामने. मैं देख रहा हूँ. और फिर मैं बोल रहा हूँ, अरे भाई, is this an ad for left-handed people? No. तो मैं बोला, फिर ये कॉफ़ी इसका लेफ्ट हैंड में क्यों होता है? I saw it closely. पका flipped it. Right, तो पॉकेट यहाँ से यहाँ गया.
सब उल्टा हो गया ना.
सब उल्टा हो गया. बराबर है ना. तो जाके क्लाइंट से सिग्नेचर भी मार के लेके आएगा. ऐसे ही चाहिए. अब क्या करना? तो आई कॉल्ड अप हिज बॉस. मैं बोला, भाई, आई कॉल्ड अप द क्रिएटिव डायरेक्टर. आई सेड, बॉस, हाउ डिड वी मेक अ मिस्टेक लाइक दिस? ये इतना फ्लिप किया हुआ है. सो इट्स लेफ्ट हैंडेड का कप. इसने जो फिर हाउ एडिजेंसी आर्ट डायरेक्टर्स है, माँ बहन की गाली दी है उसको. बट एनीवे, क्वेश्चन इज वी हैड टू शूट बोथ right hand and left hand, and then they whatever jugaad they did. That was happening. And then another thing that happened was we were shooting for a branded client. Okay. Now you know how people brand a particular color. It's their signature color. You know what I'm saying? So it's like how Porsche or Ferrari will have that particular red, or Kodak will have that particular yellow, or Fuji will have a particular green, like banks, and they have a particular color that represents moment. But most of their POP or communications or whatever will have that color. And we were supposed to shoot a shoot with a set involved in it. And then the art director said, "Yeah, my color se कंटाल गया हूँ यार. Can't we change it to some other color?" And I'm just looking at him blank. Like, billions of dollars they must have spent to
Make that color,
make
get
that
the
color
right. Yeah.
as a recognizable brand tool, and you want to change it. And he was arguing with me, and I said, "Why are you arguing with me? You argue with the client, man.
I'll do it. I don't.
मैं तो मेरा चार्ज करेगा. What can I do about it? You know." So today's system versus what we were used to, when you're working with people like Koladkar and Subhash Sawant and they are Sudhir Sawant, Mahadik, they are terrific guys to work with. You know, so what used to happen is the professional level of work that we used to do at that time आज exist नहीं है. And I'm seeing that it's also happening with the agencies. Maybe the agency are not motivated enough, but in those days, like Priti Vyas, Gyanati, they used to win awards every year, because each ad used to be a piece of work, piece of art, you know. And today, I don't see that happening. I just totally don't see that happening.
I don't think they even send their work for awards anymore.
I don't even know if those awards are still happening. I don't even know. I mean, we're out of touch for a long time. I mean, now when you're teaching for 30 plus years, you know. But I try to teach my students that the only way that you will be able to separate yourself from the chaff, as we call them, is not only technical knowledge, but you have to bring that bit of fine art into your pictures. You know, that means तेरा क्या सोच है वो अंदर आना चाहिए.
Your personal touch should be
your
there.
Your personal touch should be there. Your style should be there. So today I'm very happy that we are famous now as a school, not because of the faculty or because of the being in the teaching thing for 30 plus years, because of our students. Because the students are famous, we become famous.
And you have quite a few famous photographers coming out of your
huge amounts. Huge amount. Now you go anywhere in the country. I mean, all my friends from Nikon or Canon, they said, "Sir, हम जिधर भी जाते हैं, हम कोई भी अच्छा फोटोग्राफर से मिलते हैं, तो वो आपका ही स्टूडेंट निकलता है." You know, literally that's the feedback we get from the brands also. True. That anywhere we go, they are all your guys, basically. So I think it was fun doing what I did. But today, we are facing a generation who don't want to give time. They want to learn in like a few days or maybe a few months, and they want to become experts. And that is not because they are so dependent on the new softwares or the new hardwares that are coming in. But if you don't understand the final usage,
what is the use?
Then you know what happens is you are not. I'll give one very simple example. We were talking about that 14 stop ka dynamic range.
Yes.
Yeah. This is the biggest problem is थोड़ा अंडर एक्सपोज हो गया आपका पिक्चर तो क्या होएगा? वो ओपन करने जाएगा तो व्हाट हैपेंस? नॉइस पिक्सल्स कम इन.
Of course.
हाँ, तो उसको भी साफ करने के लिए आप गॉसियन ब्लर या कोई ब्लर करेंगे तो क्या होएगा? तो योर फोकस इज बिकमिंग सॉफ्ट.
The quality of the image also goes down.
Totally goes down.
It goes down.
Right? So here what happens is that they don't understand that your print, see you're seeing backlit.
But then I hardly think people are even printing the pictures anymore these days. No?
Which is sad. Which is very sad.
It's very sad.
But at the same time, there are certain clients where you have to print. You know what I mean? So then at that point of time, what happens is you can, like, simple example. Sanjeev Kapoor, or what's his name? The chef. He wants to make a book. So you need to shoot food photography for him and give him a book. Now, if in food photography, थोड़ा भी आप लाइटिंग में चुके
तो गेम पूरा खराब है.
Because what happens is in printing, like I said, dynamic range is very tiny. Very tiny. So in the area which has not been lit, that's the place where it becomes muddy.
प्रिंट में पूरा दिख के आता है वो.
Muddy हो जाता है. Now imagine if you want to have a nice food, and when you look at the food, it looks like it's muddy. You won't feel turned on by that food. You understand what I'm saying? So that these people don't want to do that. They just think it's a block. They want to do all the shortcuts and they think they'll become superstars or something like that. Fair enough. Final bottom line is, okay, can you convert it into money? It has to be a career. It cannot be a job. One thing that happened recently, we had Ajay, who came from United States.
Okay.
And he's a veteran portrait artist from there, celebrity shooter. Yeah, charges $5,000, $10,000 a mugshot.
Wow.
Okay, he was there at our place, and he was so surprised. Oh my God, you guys are using meter. It's like that. People today don't use this dumb bloody. He was very eloquent. So when he was there, and he was saying that most of the people are obsessed with jobs. कि मुझे जॉब मिलना है, मतलब असाइनमेंट मिला ना मिला, आज मिला वो बोला. Sir, he said, are you a job seeker or are you a career person? There's a big difference in this. Career is when you're not looking. Career is when people come to you because you're there. Do you understand what I'm saying? So even in Shari, 60% of my students, 70% of my students are out of Bombay, out of Maharashtra. Why? Because we're there. You know what I mean?
They're traveling here to.
They travel here. They stay for the 2 years and study. I have had girls, one from Vasai, one from Pune. They would take the train in the morning, come here, take the train in the evening back.
Wow.
Itna lamba travel karte.
And you have 5 days class.
No, I'm talking about 2 years.
No, per week you have 5 days class.
I have a 5-day class, 4-day class, 3-day class, and of course 3-month class. A lot of new stuff is coming in also.
Okay.
Now that people are looking for this kind of stuff, we will provide it to them.
Of course.
At least we'll try to see that we put in a lot into their head, compared to what is in market, which is mostly theory.
True.
But the problem here is that what they need is to make a study of in which direction they want to go, or which is the area of operation where they think that this genre is going to be my genre and I'm going to work on it. You get what I'm saying? You're a fashion photographer, yeah, but then you have what we in our language is, eat, sleep, drink, dream, fashion.
Yeah.
Right? So you really gone deep into it. Nowadays I was an FX guy. हवा में उड़ाने का सब जो ब्लास्ट करना है वो सब मैं करता था. Fair enough. So today's this thing, they are not going deep into it.
Okay.
They're not going deep into it. You understand what I'm saying? Like I'll have somebody will come, new kid, and now he's shooting a food shot. He's putting चिकन टिक्का लेके आया मार्केट से, उसने अरेंज किया, उसके साथ कड़ी पत्ता रखा. And I'm wondering, यार चिकन टिक्का में कड़ी पत्ता कहाँ गिरता है?
It is not making sense to you.
It doesn't make sense to you. So that is the time when you worry, wondering, यार तू भाई तेरे को, do you even know what food is? कौन सी प्लेट में लगती है, कौन सा ड्रिंक कौन सा ग्लास में लगता है. So जो डेप्थ जो होना है वो आज नहीं हो रहा है. It's just not happening, which is why you're seeing pictures which are very heavily cooked. Very heavily cooked, because they've done something and then Photoshop में totally different game change हो जाता है. And funnily, client seems to be liking it because they are cheap.
Because I think client को अब quality नहीं चाहिए. एक टाइम था जब clients को quality चाहिए था, quantity नहीं चाहिए था. But अभी client को क्या चाहिए? Quantity चाहिए, because what they want to do is they want to upload picture every day for next 6 months. है ना? तो when they are trying to do that, then they have forgotten that there's something called quality, and all they want is quantity.
Yes.
And
but the client also needed to be a professional, right? You got to understand.
That's there, but I think वो नहीं है वो. I think out of 100 maybe 1 या 2 client है मेरे जो बहुत ही ज़्यादा मतलब They're anal about everything. Shreyans, let's keep it this way, let's keep it that way. And I love to work with them. You got to be anal so that I also have the challenge, right? कि ठीक है ऐसा कुछ करते हैं. But hardly anybody actually wants that. All they want is extra images. मारो. और कितनी बार तो होता है क्लाइंट बोलता है रीटचिंग भी नीचे मेरे को बस दे दो, मेरे को पूरा रॉ डेटा दे दो, मैं अपलोड कर लेगा, है ना. तो फोटो डार्क है तो डार्क चलेगा, नहीं तो नहीं चलेगा, फोकस है तो कोई बात नहीं चलेगा, बस दे दो मैं अपलोड कर लेगा. तो that's the world we are living in, right? And you can't do anything about it. Coming to that, I wanted to ask you about the lighting. Okay, at this point I see that most of the people, they do not understand lighting, or if they understand also, they have understood that one basics of lighting, or maybe they have this light boys who light on behalf of them. So now the photographers, they don't really know much of a lighting.
Zero
lighting. Very few. Very few people, they actually understand how they lights.
They don't even remember. They don't even have the common sense, or let's put it as this thing कि तू बाहर जाएगा, आपको कितना सूरज दिखता है? Only one, right? आपके स्टूडियो के अंदर 5 सूरज कहाँ से आते हैं?
कैसे बन रहा है तुम्हारा?
When you see 5 different shadows in 5 directions, how did you do that?
Maybe they're just trying to create effect.
Doesn't make sense because it is. It doesn't look human.
Okay.
Then it looks like it's been shot on Tatooine or something like that. You know, one of the Star Wars planets or something like that. So it doesn't make sense. Simple. An architectural shot.
Okay.
Yeah. Now an architectural shot is what? It's a imitation. It's a duplicate, or of the original construction that's going to happen. Now, how can you have a tree? Or all those architectural facades having 3-4 shadows. How does that look normal?
So you have to light it in such a way that it looks very real.
It looks like one light. एक ही सूरज का लाइट होता है. पर ये लोग को नहीं समझ में आता, वो एक तो फिल्म मीटर भी यूज़ नहीं करना है, वो जुगाड़ बस दिखता है बस बहुत हो गया. See, I'll tell you what, where we come from, if I was shooting for the garden silks, the saris and all of that, what would happen normally is that they are marketing to young ladies who are not well educated.
Okay.
Because ये तो पूरा भारत में जाता है ना, सिर्फ सिटीज या अर्बन एरिया में थोड़ी जाता है, गांव में जाता है,
कोने में जाता है.
हमारे ऊपर प्रेशर क्या होता था? When we are shooting, we had to shoot it so bang on, because what would happen is that if the sari color changes, that means the sari color is different, and in the ad it's different.
It's different. Real right? Different, right?
So what would happen is that that girl would tear that ad, go to the garden sale retail place and tell them, मेरे को ये साड़ी चाहिए. Now if that puts the same sari here, but they don't match, no sale happening. So ये ज़माना था हमारा ट्रांसपेरेंसी का, जब हम लोग फिल्टरिंग करके उसका कलरिंग एग्जैक्ट करते थे, बिकॉज वी यूज्ड टू हैव कलर मीटर्स. आज कलर मीटर कितने के पास है? तो नॉर्मल मीटर नहीं है तो कलर मीटर थोड़ी 2 लाख का मीटर लेगा वो.
कोई नहीं लेगा. अब तो वो ज़माना ही नहीं है वैसे.
वो ज़माना नहीं.
आई थिंक अब तो किसी को ज़रूरत भी नहीं पड़ता है, थोड़ा बहुत कलर ऊपर नीचे हो तो चलेगा. Also the thing is, why that is also one of the issues, because all the monitors are different.
There you go.
So maybe if you have a ISO, you actually have a perfect lighting, or if you have a BenQ, you still have a perfect lighting. But like these is Apple displays different than the what you call Asus, and then that's different from the LG, and then we have Samsung, and not everybody has the budget to spend $1.5 lakh for a monitor, right? I mean, ISO is straight $1.5 lakh rupees. At the same time, Apple MacBook, Apple's display is also around $1.5 lakh rupees, but that is not as accurate as ISO.
It's sRGB correct, not Adobe RGB 1998.
Exactly. But now what has happened in the younger generation of photographers, they feel that कि नहीं Apple ही लेना है, because Apple is a good display, है ना? Which brand भी है, और एक लगता है ना कि डिस्प्ले अच्छा है Apple का, मेरे पास iPhone है, iPad है, तो और मेरा मॉनिटर भी सेम है, तो everything looks seamless, everything looks good together. But वही ISO आ जाएगा मेरे मॉनिटर में, या फिर मेरे पास BenQ आ जाता है, या फिर perfect 100% Adobe RGB, then you have a perfect lighting, perfect colors, but then client will not see that.
No, and I think it's going to get worse.
Yeah, it'll get worse. It'll stupidly get worse, and that's the reason most of the photographers have to actually stick to MacBooks or Apple product, because then client को भी वही दिखेगा. At least चलो मतलब Apple has become the how do I say, the top notch product at this point, and which is
At
the
least it's a popular one.
yeah, it's the
Very
popular one at this
one,
point, and then that is the kind of color which is working in all the phones and all the computers at this point.
sRGB, like I said, bang on with
It is.
Apple.
It is bang on. But yeah, I mean, that's how the whole mentality changes, and there's nothing what we can do about it, because even if you want to change this, even if you want to, stick to the proper colors with the proper monitor or with the proper calibration of the colors, it might not work because client is going to see something else altogether, and it just doesn't work.
No, that I appreciate. I appreciate that because that's something we faced for 40 years.
Uh-huh.
So it's not like it's something new for us also. But the question here was very simple. Is there are people, like you said, who are the topographers. I call them topographers. Yeah, and there are some who are like photographers. Okay. There are two difference in the whole lot. So then what happens is that today, with the technology, we were just in fact discussing about AI.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, which is going crazy.
It's insane.
Yeah? Now, see, on one side is AI, which is ridiculous. It can practically do things which, even if you're not trained for it,
True,
including
right.
animation kar dalta hai, basically. I mean, you can put your face and you can put
Make
your...
it talk.
Yeah. So that's one side. On the other side, there are phones which are now coming up with the APS-C sensors and Zeiss lenses and Hasselblad lenses and stuff like that. Tell me, what do you think is going to be the future?
Phones and AI.
And AI. See, हमारे ज़माने में because there was a direct relationship with the size of the transparency for the enlargement. So we were shooting on large format, 4x5
yes.
at least, or at least 120, right? तो आज के ज़माने में जब ये मारते especially now when people are saying there's a lot of things happening, cinematography में बहुत ज़्यादा जा रहे हैं लोग, fair enough. Now what happened in our time in cinematography? People used to shoot on 8 mm, super 8 mm for weddings. बराबर है?
बराबर.
इतना
सा सेंसर
right? And it used to work.
It used to be played on the televisions.
No, not television. We used to put it on screens at that time, on projector levels. अपना जो इन फिल्म डिवीजन का जो डॉक्यूमेंट्रीज आते थे which we used to see on wide screen in theaters. That was 16 millimeters. 16 millimeter. What is 16 millimeter? APS-C sensor. APS-C sensor. Roughly.
Actually, it's smaller than APS-C also.
Yeah. So now just think about it. That if APS-C is coming on the phones. Yeah. So why do we need cameras?
You might not.
5 लाख का कैमरा लेके फायदा क्या?
I think वो तो फोटोग्राफर्स का प्यार होता है कि भाई पैसा खर्चा करना है.
तो हाँ ठीक है, मगर पैसा खर्चा करने के बाद थोड़ा बनाना भी तो चाहिए ना. So yeah, what is going to happen is that between AI and things like this, because no, seriously, just look at your utility today. If it's going to be what do you call social media, what do you require? 72 dpi.
More than enough.
Yeah?
You don't need to go above 70 at all.
है ही नहीं, रेजोल्यूशन नहीं उससे ज़्यादा.
मैं सबको वही बोलता रहता हूँ कि 300 dpi का तुमको एक्सपोर्ट की जरूरत नहीं है. तुम दे क्यों रहे हो?
Forget that export. There are people who says no, हम तो Hasselblad पे ही मारते हैं.
But क्यों?
मैं सोच रहा हूँ काहे के लिए मार रहा है भाई तू?
कहाँ डालेगा?
Well.
और रिटचिंग कैसे करेगा? मतलब मेरे को कभी भी लगता है Hasselblad पे आपने शूट तो कर लिया. चल, fuck Hasselblad. Let's just take Fujifilm for that matter of fact. Fujifilm medium format GFXs, right? If you are going to upload pictures on Instagram only, why are you wasting money?
अरे APS-C से छोटा फ्रेम हम पूरा स्क्रीन पे लगाते थे.
मोबाइल में लगाते थे. मोबाइल के तो फोटोज बन रहे हैं.
अच्छा, what is the size in which your hoardings are printed?
35 mm will be more than enough for you. You don't need 35 mm.
What is the DPI for your hoardings?
250.
Less than 75. Less than 75.
It?
Yes. दूर से देखना है ना आपको. 200-300 फीट पे दिख रहा है, आप थोड़ी यहाँ दिख रहे हैं. तो वहाँ
वो भी 70 से नीचे रहेगा वो.
अरे इंक कितना खाएगा? 300 रुपये लग जाएगा. What will be the cost of one hoarding? अगर उसको 100 होर्डिंग, 200 होर्डिंग, 500 होर्डिंग करना है पूरे भारत में, वो कितना रोकड़ी खर्चेगा?
वो सबको सस्ता वाला काम था,
हाँ,
इसलिए
तो सबसे चीप मीडिया पे डालेगा तो उसमें इतना इंक डालेगा तो वो यूजलेस. You understand what I'm trying to say? So this is what people don't understand. That if your requirement is not going to be above 72 dpi or 75 dpi, what are you shooting with that fancy camera for?
What's your answer?
My answer is simple. I'm waiting for the damn phone with APS-C. You know?
सारा कैमरा बेच देगा, हमको नहीं चाहिए अपने को.
यूज क्या है, फायदा क्या है यार? वो क्लाइंट को बोले what does the client do here? Tell me. What a client knows. एक तो as it is he doesn't recognize you as an artist. बराबर है. तू तो एक हजाम है जो कैमरा के साथ आया है. I'm talking about me. I'm a photographer like that. I have to tell everyone. बोला हम लोग क्या, हम लोग हजाम है.
हाँ, हजाम है.
हाँ, you understand? अरे क्या यार, हजाम make more money यार. Think about it. मेरे हम लोग के ज़माने में I would get a haircut if I had to get a haircut. Forget me, my grandfather, if I talk to my dad and my uncles, 10 पैसे में तो मेरा हेयरकट होता था. बराबर है. इन 10 पैसा. चाय कितने की थी? अरे इडली कितने की थी? 5 पैसे में 3 बड़ी इडली विद अनलिमिटेड सांबार एंड चटनी. आज इडली कितने मिल रही?
15 रुपये एटलीस्ट मिनिमम.
रोड वाला दो ही मिलता है, वो दो ही मिलता है,
वो भी रोड वाला.
हाँ, और वो भी इतनी चट्टी और इतनी तीसरी. बराबर है. सो व्हेन यू लुक एट इट दैट वे, डू यू नो व्हाट वाज द कॉस्ट ऑफ अ पोर्ट्रेट इन दोज डेज, इन 60s 70s?
What was the price?
$100-150, $200. When your cost of giving, मतलब फिल्म एक B2 साइज की फिल्म आती थी, उसको प्रोसेस करना, उसको प्रिंट करना, इसको कॉस्ट यू अबाउट maybe 15 पैसा.
Okay.
And you're charging $250 or $100, $150 per image. बराबर है.
और एक स्लाइड मिलेगा बस रिटर्न में.
आज 50 रुपये में 50 कॉपी दे रहा है आप. बराबर है. तो इडली ने भाव बढ़ाया, हजाम ने भाव बढ़ाया, सब ने भाव बढ़ाया. फोटोग्राफर भाई उल्टा गया.
नीचे चला गया.
You understand what I'm saying? This is something
and it is
very
supposed
unique.
to be the most expensive profession.
Exactly.
It is supposed
investment
to be
क्या है? हजाम का इन्वेस्टमेंट क्या है? कैची और एक उस तरह.
तेरा इन्वेस्टमेंट तो कैमरा, लेंस, लाइट, मेमोरी कार्ड
कितना है?
कंप्यूटर
कितना है? अभी आप ईजो की बात करें, 1.5 लाख का, 2 लाख का एक
वो भी 2 साल के बाद नया लेने का मन करेगा. बस हो गया.
एग्जैक्टली तो कीड़ा होता है नया चीज़ करने के लिए.
आई थिंक बस इंडिया में, आई थिंक अब्रॉड में इतना, मतलब फोटोग्राफी इज वेरी एक्सपेंसिव, सिनेमाटोग्राफी इज एक्सट्रीमली एक्सपेंसिव. इंडिया इज द ओनली कंट्री आई फील, मे बी इंडिया, पाकिस्तान, बांग्लादेश, मे बी फॉर दैट मैटर ऑफ फैक्ट, आई एम नॉट श्योर. आई थिंक वी आर एक्सट्रीमली चीप, or maybe we just don't want to charge high at all. At the same time, when we are working with the celebrities also, they also don't have the money to give you.
No, they all have money.
But then they don't want to pay you because they know कि free में हो सकता है, system में काम हो जाएगा.
You know what has happened? I know some people are not going to like me for this, but one of the reasons why I had scrap with my so-called brand people is that 4 लाख 5 लाख का एक आपका कैमरा है. बराबर है. आपने अभी लॉन्च किया. बराबर है. नाउ वन पर्सन बाइज दैट कैमरा, फोटोग्राफर बाय करता है. तो वो बेचारा मेहनत करेगा, तो ये पैसा वापस ले आएगा, उसके ऊपर थोड़ा प्रॉफिट मारेगा तो घर चलेगा. बराबर है. अभी ये इक्विपमेंट उसने अभी चालू किया, अगर 4 महीने के बाद 5 महीने में वही ब्रांड, नया ब्रांड न्यू निकालता है. इतना फोकसिंग पॉइंट ज़्यादा दिया, इसका ये ज़्यादा दिया, इस लोग थोड़ा ये दिया. सुन it comes out in another few months and it comes out another one, right? What do? They'll take a celebrity photographer who shot another celebrity, make a tom about it. So what does the client says? hey, तेरे पास ये कैमरा है, आजा. बराबर है. अगर वो कैमरा नहीं है तो फिर नहीं. So what is this guy got to do? He's stuck with this camera.
Has to buy a new one now.
Yeah, how? इसने उसका तो वसूल किया नहीं है. This used to be my fight, and because of which brands didn't like me. He says, you're not working for our sales. I said, why should I work for your sales? I have 40 years veteran in the industry. I'm going to look after my photographers.
I want to be with my community. I want to support my community.
Absolutely. Yeah. So, ठीक है. I take panga. I'm known as a panga wala. So anyway, what to do? So this is something that has been irritating me for a very long time. That's why I've been telling them, boss, either you shape up. This is not going to work because ये बच्चा जो है, एक तो बेचारे को इतना फोटोग्राफी आता नहीं, जितना आता है उसमें ही अपना गुजारा तय कर रहा है. उसने में आप हर 4 महीना हर 5 महीने में नया बॉडी डालते हैं.
कैसा चलेगा
उसको टम टम करेगा. ये बेचारे को क्या, अंदर क्लाइंट भी बेअक्कल आदमी है. वो समझता कैमरा फोटोग्राफी निकालता है, जो बंदा पीछे वो तो हजाम है. और ये जो फोटोग्राफर है, he is also not marketed himself as an artist. He is also very marketed himself like an hajam.
They're not trying to become an artist at all. They're just trying to be.
I'm not insulting my own brothers. You understand? Because I feel for them, which is why I fight with the brands. Which is why the brands, they throw me out of their ambassadorship for that matter. यार तो आप काम करने हैं, मेरे को छोड़. I'm not going to sell for you. Bugger off. You know. But the question is this: our people need to understand that they are important. They are, because of which there is photography. Photography is not happening because of a fancy equipment. It's not.
Of course, it's not.
You know, बचपन में
सब लोग फिल्म पे शिफ्ट हो जाओ फिर से. वैसे सबको फिल्म पे शिफ्ट हो जाना चाहिए.
अरे फाड़ डालेंगे मार्केट if they really do that. But anyway, that's the second topic. But you know what? As a kid, even today, I like to go to different art galleries. तो जहांगीर आर्ट गैलरी में बर्ड एग्जीबिशन था, you know, and there were these beautiful black and white prints, you know, and lovely pictures, including, you know, mama bird feeding the baby, you know, all the chicks and all that thing. इतना close up and all that thing, you know. And मेरे दिमाग में जा रहा है. When I'm looking at the quality of the images and all, and I'm saying, यार ये हैज़लब्लड होगा, यार ये फलाना लेंस होगा, या 500 mm लेंस होगा, यार दिमाग में ये सब चल रहा है मेरे.
बड़े कैमरास
के मेरा नाम आ रहा है. And I went through the entire exhibition. At the last, there was one little poster which says, all images in this exhibition were shot on Agfa Click 3.
Oh shit. लोगों को कैमरा में नहीं मालूम है.
So Agfa Click 3 is like a dabba with a lens. I think it had a couple of apertures, I think, you know, and
I don't think it has any aperture. Does it have aperture?
Not aperture like that. खाली एक या दो था, you know, sunlight वाला और एक बादल वाला, ऐसा कुछ. Yeah, just turn it on. So that was it. And I said, bullshit. That came out of my mind instinctively, nikla, you know. And the tiny guy standing next to me and he's looking at me and he said, yes, young man, what is bullshit? You know. And I said, oh shit. You know, I looked at him and he looked familiar. I said, just saw the images. This cannot be shot on Agfa Click 3.
Okay.
You know what Agfa Click 3 is? It's a point and shoot. There is no focusing, nothing. Just point and click, literally, you know, wide angle lens. So you get lovely depth of field.
I've seen that cameras.
Hey, छोटा सा
डब्बा.
If I remember, plastic का था कि metal का था, anyway. So this guy was, he said, come, I will show you how to take pictures in this. And I remember, ये कहाँ में फंस गया बरा? I went with him. And then he started talking about each picture, how he clicked it. And then I asked him, who are you, sir? He said, I'm Sadiq Ali, the bap of bird photography. You know, a tiny little guy. And he said, attention में आ गया मैं, क्योंकि ये तो मतलब गुरु है अपना. So then I looked at that picture with the mother and chick, you know, feeding the. I said, how did you do this? It's not possible.
Okay.
You know, what is it? Birds have short-term memory. So you move 1 inch every minute. So if you come here, after some time the bird doesn't even remember you're there. Forgets you.
So he had the patience.
तो सोच ले उसका नजीक जाते जाते उसको कितना टाइम लगा, and then he got the right image. Now these are baps. Now compare that with the younger generation who's got zero patience.
We are going to talk about few different things now. I think we have spoken about a lot of things, personal matters, Shari Academy, health. So now I want to talk about, you know, first thing is that what was good back then in compared to digital photography, and what is good right now. Like I don't want you to talk about cons of things back then or right now. What do you think has changed, and it has really changed for good? compared to film photography to digital photography, and so let's go with that first.
I don't know if it's good or bad, but yes, there are some good things that happened, but there are also some not so good things happening.
Okay.
Good is that, see, in my time, if I'm shooting a film, my film will be processed by a professional. मैं खुद नहीं कर रहा, बराबर है? Then the film आती थी, it will come. Then I would hand over the film to the client. The client will give it to the whatever agency, ad agency, the art director, and then they will make an ad out of that. So I have zero control after a shot. Well, in digital, what happens is right from shoot to print, I have a total control because everything is in house. सब मेरे को घर पे पड़ा है, कंप्यूटर से लेके प्रिंटर तक. I can literally give a print and tell the client, boss, this is your colors.
True.
If you know your subject, that's the level you can take it.
True.
You know?
That's true.
Because software, वो सब है, उसको चलाना भी आना चाहिए. You understand? Very recently, we had hired a Photoshop artist for our own work because we shoot a lot, so we need somebody. Because shooting के बाद, neither my wife nor I have the time to sit on the thing. By tukar, you know. And when they started doing, so we realized that he was doing it in JPEG, and I said, boss, you have to do it from RAW. We don't do JPEG. हम लोग शादी वाले थोड़ी है. तो he said, sir, हमको तो वो नहीं आता है. So we had to teach him.
Okay. Which
basically means what? These guys have absolutely no depth of knowledge, but they want 25, 30, 40, 50,000 bucks a month. Mm-hmm. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? So here what happens is that though there's a beautiful support system, because when we have a look at Photoshop, we have a look at the other software that are happening, including Corel Raw. We have gone into that also.
No.
So when you look at it, all the IT, the artificial intelligence, the new software that are coming in, we do our research and all that, and we feel that it can be a complementary, supplementary thing. The person who knows how to use it will do a terrific job. Yeah? But the person who doesn't know about it is going to take a shortcut and is going to come out with crap. See, there's a rule in Photoshop.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like in commerce we had, what is it called? What goes in comes out. It's like the crap goes in, crap comes out.
Okay.
You understand what I'm saying?
No, not yet.
So if your input levels are bad,
okay,
if your image itself is bad, you can't do a miracle.
No, you can't do a miracle then. True.
You understand? So if the word for it, I completely forgot out of my head, but it's something which says you put in bad results come out.
True.
You cannot do miracles. Yeah. Now, even if this artificial intelligence, all we're talking about, they're doing a terrific job. 15, 20, I don't know exactly. Well, McDonald's had shocked the world, our advertising world, by releasing an ad which was not shot. It was completely done on CG.
Wow.
Computer graphics. Yeah. And everybody said, oh crap, that means our photography is dead. You know, it never died. Never died.
We just learned to use along with our work now.
Not only that, the question is CG जो है gives you one option. Because the rendering, it takes time. The softwares that you use to do things on that, they're expensive. Photography is doing live. Because for food of any kind, even if it's McDonald's, it's finally got texture, mold, molding to it, the three-dimensionality to it, the feel to it. तो वो लाना time consuming चीज़ है. Well, in shoot में I can be giving them 10 different changes. चल बदली कर, let's do. वो change करने जाएगा तो पागल हो जाएगा. But having said that, today most architecture photography is rendered.
True.
Very few is being shot, except maybe hotels and places of like maybe commercial spaces where people want to sell to people. Come here and use these premises, and it'll help you for your branding and blah blah blah. Or if somebody is telling you know $90,000 a night for a suite, then they should know what they're going to get in $90,000.
How they look like.
Yeah. So then that is okay. But otherwise, if you're talking about architecture, rendered. Car, rendered. So most of those expensive or specialty jobs that we used to do are getting a little less because of artificial intelligence and softwares and all that kind of stuff. That is for sure. So there are some pros, yes, because architecture also, there is a way of doing it. It's not something that you just go and blast a camera or something like that, just a flash in it or something like that. Each architect puts his thoughts, his visions behind how he designs it. And he wants that to come out. So you cannot just put two lights and bang and come back. तो वही चीज़ आना चाहिए. You know, difference क्या है? जो दो लाइट मार के बैंग मार के आ जाता है वो दिन का 10,000 चार्ज करता है, 50-100 फोटो खींच के आता है, बराबर है. और जो our level photographers, the old school photographers, who take the patience and make the whole shot perfect, they charge 3 lakhs, 4 lakhs a day, and their assignment is for 10 days, 15 days. This is the difference of old school versus new school. Because you see, it's very simple. If I'm shooting a restaurant, then each table has to be laid out properly. Each curtain, the tablecloth, उसका जो folds है perfect दिखना चाहिए. तो क्या ध्यान, photography is not so much but is that much as to make it look good.
True.
You get it? तो वो चाहिए ना. तो ये तो भाई तो जाके मारता पटाख करके, because what happens with him, वो ट्राइपॉड पर रखेगा कैमरा, वाइड एंगल लेगा और 4-5 फ्रेम खींच डालेगा और फिर वो HDR करके कुछ जुगाड़ करके प्रिंट दे देगा,
प्रिंट निकाल देगा.
बराबर है. सो द क्लाइंट हु डजंट अंडरस्टैंड द डिफरेंस,
they'll be very happy.
They will be very happy. The client who understands that if I want to sell my property, which is in lakhs of rupees or crores of rupees, then I have to have a certain class to it. And that's the person who will hire this kind of photographers. ऐसा तो नहीं है कि इंडिया में ऐसा फोटोग्राफर नहीं है, वो चार्जिंग अ बॉम्ब, you know. So production level work जो होता है, ये artificial को करना difficult है. But at the same time, this artificial intelligence, the softwares, hardware, they made your life simpler, you know. And yes, there are a lot of genres of work which are now becoming, we may not need a photographer. True. We may not need a photographer.
You might not.
Like there was some time when we used to do jewelry photography, and because it was very expensive jewelry, yeah. Now they have a Xerox machine. You lift the dhakkan, put it back, it's shot. So even equipments are now coming, which are very, let's put it as independent of professionals.
Okay.
So any nerd can use it. You know?
That's true.
So I don't know if you know about this, but in the catalog market, fashion catalog market, there was a time when somebody had actually developed software to take the picture of one model from all angles, yeah, and the sari would wrap itself. That means they had to just shoot the sari separately. So they didn't have to shoot it.
Okay.
You know, so things like this is going to happen. Whatever was that software that's just, I mean, the thing that's just come that these are to give the prompt.
ChatGPT. ChatGPT.
Yeah. So then that is there. These are things which are going to literally do your work for you. Yeah. So at that particular point of time, what is got to happen? Good, yes, because those who know how to use it are going to do a terrific job with it. Those who don't know how to use it are going to make it into a mess. Because they just do it and 10 रुपए में बेचेगा. See, you could understand the mentality.
सही बात.
Photoshop है ना, एक ज़माने में महंगा था.
बहुत महंगा था.
वो एक सीडी का जो उसका पैकेट था, तो 40,000 50,000 का एक उसका पूरा सॉफ्टवेयर का पैकेट आता था, बराबर है. मार्केट में 100 रुपये में मिलता था, जो बोलते हैं ना, या पायरेटेड दिस थिंग. Think about the photographer, because when he used to talk to them, the photographer used to tell me very proudly, सर मैंने खरीद लिया और फिर मैंने 100 रुपये में डुप्लीकेट करके बेच दिया. तो ही वॉज सो हैप्पी कि उसने अपना पैसा निकाल दिया और वो बचा लिया उसने. ही इज़ वेरी हैप्पी. मैं बोला तो बेवकूफ़ है.
तूने अपने मार्केट की बैंड बजा दी अब.
एब्सोल्युटली. बिकॉज क्या हुआ, 50,000 तूने खर्चा किया, मगर तूने जितने लोग को बेचा था उसकी 50,000 की औकात भी नहीं थी. तूने उनकी औकात बना दी 100 रुपये में. नाउ व्हाट इज गोना हैपन टू यू? दे गोना कॉम्पीट विद यू.
नाउ दे विल टेक योर
फॉर 100 रुपीज़.
100 rupees.
बराबर है. तो तूने कितना बड़ा काम किया बोल तू. You get. So the simple thing is our guys are just not willing to learn. But the question is with all this softwares and all thing, आपकी जो नॉर्मल जो आमदनी का जरिया था अगर जो बंद होने चालू हो गया. मैंने आपको बताया if a cell phone will have an APS sensor and powerful lenses in it, already 3 lenses 4 lenses निकाल के दे रहे था in your wide angle super this that. तो आप सोच लो ये जो पूरा कॉम है अपना, दे आर गोइंग टू फ्लाउंडर बैड. The only way that they can make money will be to be many steps above the chef. And money to be on that level, either you'll have to assist somebody who is also on that level and beyond, or you have to come for a formal training. You have no choice about it.
But then you also should be that passionate to learn also, na?
But that is the problem. That is the problem. People think everything is doable on. But if everything is doable on softwares and all that,
तो करते क्यों नहीं फिर
तो
लोग?
फिर करते क्यों नहीं? One and दूसरा कितने जन करेंगे? Now just think. अपने यहाँ पे थोड़ी भी इकोनॉमी है. But we have neighbors who don't have economy at all. Yeah, Philippines, right? There are people who are willing to do back-end work for you from there. आप अपना शूट किया, उसको डंप किया, वो फर्स्ट क्लास करके भेज के फटाक से कर देगा. How much is it charging?
Peanuts.
$1 rupees और 40 rupees in our currency. 40 रुपया. अभी ये अपने यहाँ के जो बंदे होता है 50,000 नौकरी का, मतलब I want 50,000 rupees a month. I'm wondering, does he even know his reality? और उसको आता भी नहीं है.
काम पूरा आया तो देगा भी आदमी पैसा भी.
एग्जैक्टली. बट वही मैं बोल रहा हूँ ना, इफ दैट इज द काइंड ऑफ कॉम्पिटिशन. सी वी यूज्ड टू सेंड अवर स्टूडेंट्स टू दिस क्रूज लाइनर्स. They were earning something like $1,200 to $1,200. Starting salary was $1,200 a month. बराबर है.
बराबर.
Then suddenly it came down. Why did it come down?
Why?
Because the Filipinos were willing to work for $500. They were willing to say
पैसा चाहिए था भाई, बस कमाना.
पैसा चाहिए, बोला हमको खाली तुम खाना पीना दो, हम तुम्हें करने को तैयार है. I'm not blaming Filipinos. They have a bad situation.
They can't help it.
They can't help it. Finally, everybody has to take care of themselves, right? So when you have artificial intelligence and all things, it's going to happen not in India. It's going to happen on a worldwide basis. In all those areas which people don't have access to work, why do you think there are so many foreign models coming from those ex-Soviet Union, USSR, coming to India and Bombay to work for? They are much professional. They are cheaper than the Indian models. Why?
Because they don't have economy there, they don't have the money there.
नहीं है ना उधर.
इसलिए यहाँ पर आ रहा है.
वहाँ पे टीचर को कितना मिलता है? Maybe $10, $20, $30 महीने के बाद. Literally that is the हालत. तो यहाँ पे अगर उसको दिन में 10,000 मिलता है, very happy. You understand? So now it's no longer a Indian market. It's now a global market. So in a global market with this kind of hardware, this kind of software, which is going to make life easier for, especially for those idiots who will do it for $1 a shot. Right? तो जो ये लोग 5 लाख 10 लाख 20 लाख खर्चा करके जो इक्विपमेंट लिया वो कहाँ जाएगा बेचारा?
हम फेंक दो सब कुछ.
या उस पर से वो सेल फोन आ रहा है. ये भी स्कीम उसके. What are they going to do? So I'm not trying to make it doomsday, but they need to shape up. First thing first, they have to understand ये धंधा है, ये time pass नहीं है. You know, I was asked a pointed question in, I think, Chandigarh. He says, should we not allow newcomers to come in? And I said, point blank, no. And they were upset.
Okay.
I said, no. That's another thing my brand didn't like. You know, because new people come in, so they can sell more equipment. Right? I said, hell with you, no. You know, they said, why? I said, why? आप खुद को देखो, एक दो यूट्यूब के वीडियो देख के आप फोटोग्राफर बन गए, एक दूसरे को पैसे प्राइस में आप मार रहे एक दूसरे की, आप बोल रहे हो उसमें और ऐड करना है,
और मारोगे फिर एक दूसरे को,
तो क्या करेगा, बचा क्या फिर? व्हाट इज गोइंग टू बी लेफ्ट फॉर यू? You get, I am not understanding the mentality of our groups, our photographer brothers. कुछ समझ में नहीं, मेरे बम पर जा रहा है कि यार ये सेम थिंकिंग भी नहीं है. You know, then they talk about respect. हमारे पास रिस्पेक्ट नहीं है. Nobody looks at us with.
तो रिस्पेक्ट तो करेगा कौन जब तुम्हारे को क्लास
करेगा?
कैसे करेगा?
नहीं, तो अब देखो, मैंने बरसों से बताया, आई डू वेडिंग फोटोग्राफी का वर्कशॉप करता हूँ, मैं बरसों से बताता हूँ कि जब एक वेडिंग हो रहा है, बराबर है, हाउ डू यू स्पॉट द फोटोग्राफर?
They should not be spot. They should be spotless. Very honest. You should not be able to spot them only.
Exactly.
They should mix
जो
with
सबसे
the
गंदा
community.
कपड़ा पहना, येड़ा जैसा कपड़ा पहना, वो फोटोग्राफर है. बराबर है?
चप्पल पहन के आ जाएंगे.
चप्पल पहन के आएगा, नहाया भी नहीं होगा शायद. ओके, फिर वो ग्रीन पैंट पहना, येलो शर्ट पहना, बोला व्हाट इज रॉन्ग विथ यू यार? बाकी वहाँ पे सब सूट बूट पहन के आया है, तू येड़े के जैसे खड़ा है. ओके, अच्छा, बाई चांस वहाँ पे यजमान ने बोला खाना लगा है, सबसे पहले लाइन में कौन खड़ा होता है?
फोटोग्राफर.
और कैसे भरता है अपनी प्लेट, जैसे लाइफ में कभी खाया नहीं है. और फिर बोलता हमको रिस्पेक्ट नहीं देता है. अरे कैसे रिस्पेक्ट देंगे भैया?
आई थिंक बड़ी कंपनी तो नहीं करती ऐसे. अब वही ये जो नए न्यू कमर्स है या स्टूडियो वाले लड़के हैं वो ऐसा करते हैं आजकल.
No. I have seen this for 30 years.
Okay. And you have seen this.
I have seen this in 30 years. Okay? And बोल के थक गया मैं. You know the joke of the century? I had this lovely conversation with Joseph Rathik. You know him, right?
I know.
Joseph is a damn cute kid, very nice guy. Knows his job. I was showing him my textbook,
Okay.
which I had brought from Rochester
Okay.
in the 80s.
Okay.
And he was looking at it and he started laughing. He says, "Sir, we are doing all this stuff today in wedding photography. You know, wide angle shot and staircase
Close
shot
wides
and
and
you know,
staircase shots.
yeah, behind the scenes and all. वो जो अभी कर रहे हैं ना आजकल, कैंडिड बोलते हैं ना उसको,
So,
डफर्स. एनीवे, सो वो जो शॉट, तो उसने उसमें देखा है. सर यूज्ड टू डू दिस इन 80s? आई सेड या. So this itself can be a story. I said, I know, but I tried teaching them this in 30 years ago. I tried teaching them that this is what you're supposed to do. They called me an idiot on my face. ये पागल है साला, इसको क्या मालूम वेडिंग क्या होता है, हस्ता मेलाप होता है, हार पहनाने का होता है, यू नो ऑल दैट.
मंगलसूत्र होता है.
मंगलसूत्र, वो नाना है ना, वो सब वही होता है उनका. तो आफ्टर नियरली 20 years, some of my students who understood, like Ranjan Zingade, then Vivek Sikweria, these are all
Vivek
wedding.
is your...
Yes, that's what did I tell you? I said, when you start knowing, you will start realizing that we have gems in the market. So all these people who understood, they did extremely well. And they won this Wedding Photographer of the Year award. Do you know the maximum number of Wedding Photographer of the Year awards have come to Shari Academy students? This was announced on the stage by Madhavan Pillai.
Wow.
Yeah? But जिसको समझा वो किया, जिसको नहीं समझा वो आज भी 15 रुपया कॉपी. You see, this is the problem. इनके दिमाग में ये क्यों नहीं जाता है कि they have to upgrade themselves or they are going to get ruined. Because all the softwares and hardware and all, you must understand, जिसने बनाया अच्छे दिल से बनाया, he wants to make your life comfortable, he wants to give you a tool जिससे आप कुछ creative काम करें. But these guys are not using it for creative. They are using it for corrective, because what have they done? They screwed up. They're trying to salvage it on the... The word I was talking about was garbage in is garbage out. That's the word I was looking for. Yeah. So that is exactly what I'm talking about. So yes, softwares are there to help. Question is, are you ready for them?
That's right.
You know,
You have to be ready
so
for
yeah,
that.
you have to be ready for them. At the same time, there are other alternatives. Now, people shut down their portrait studios, and now we get people coming and saying, "Sir, हमको portrait निकालना, हम कहाँ जावे?" the managing director of Kodak will say, where do we go for? We are from the industry. We know every photographer. Where do I take my own good picture?
Nobody's doing that.
Nobody's doing it.
It's not a business in India. It's there abroad yet. People, they still get their portraits done, their family portraits done, their kids' portraits, their dogs and cats' portraits done. India में वो तो है ही नहीं culture.
है.
सर है तो.
No, I tell you, COVID के time में हमने webinars किए थे शारी के, ex-students के, who are now established people. Alright, we are just discussing it with your assistants. In fact, Shubha's Color Lab is a family of photographers, Ulkers करके.
Okay.
Yeah, they're only into portraits, mostly into portraits, and of course wedding and everything. But the portrait, they have got studios which are 4 stories, 5 stories high. Not 1, 3.
In Bombay?
No, there's one Belgaum, Sangli, I don't know, Kolhapur, I don't know where, Kolhapur.
People, they still go for the portraits?
Yes.
Wow, that's nice.
When we shoot, one thing, when you have the managing director of a big company, he wants, चलो इकोनॉमिक टाइम्स ने बोला उसको कि भैया आपका फ़ोटो भेजा, आपके ऊपर हमको आर्टिकल लिखना है. कहाँ जाएगा? कॉर्पोरेट पोर्ट्रेट्स, बिग मनी, बट आना चाहिए ना. वो 2 अम्ब्रेला लेकर ठोकता है, वैसा थोड़ी चलता है.
नहीं चलता है. वो एक चीज़ है जो समझ में नहीं आता.
Exactly. So there are genres where you will make money. There are genres which will really give you good.
Portraits has a lot of money.
Yeah.
It's
So
just
but you need to be an expert with that. Because कैसे है? चश्मा पहना है, उसके अंदर लाइट नहीं दिखनी चाहिए. टकला है, उसको कैसे लाइट करेगा? बराबर है. हाँ, नाक लंबा है, क्या करेगा? डबल चीन है तो क्या करेगा? Most of the wealthy people are like, अरे क्या फोटोशॉप करेगा यार? You're gonna make him look like a weirdo, yeah. Especially with our level of Photoshop that happens in the market. Very few are good at their jobs. Most of them don't know what they're talking about.
Most of the photographers, they don't know.
Even the photographers don't know.
They should know their Photoshop. I feel that more than a retoucher, a photographer should know Photoshop, so they can tell the retoucher how to do
it. Exactly.
अगर आपको खुद ही नहीं आएगा तो आप दूसरों को क्या बताओगे?
तो वही तो मैं बोल रहा हूँ कि अनपढ़ जो है हमारे फौज,
आते ही नहीं इनको.
हाँ, तो क्या करेगा उसको? करेगा. वो उनको जाता भी नहीं इतना इजीली. मैंने बोला ना, जो चीज़ में आज के लोग कैंडिडेट कर रहे हैं वो मैं 32 साल से बोल रहा हूँ. करो. बराबर है. तो मैंने स्टार्टिंग में तो मेरे मुंह पे इडियट ही बोला था मुझे. They called me a bloody fool. Now suddenly they woke up.
It's cool now.
It's cool. Yeah, it's cool now.
It's interesting.
Yeah. So that's what I'm talking about. So I don't know. There are good things happening, and I'm sure that in the future that there's going to be a lot of new things that's going to happen. Correctly used, you can open up brand new avenue of business.
True.
But important is you have to handle it like a business.
Somehow like in this I've been shooting on film cameras for last 4-5 years. I think 6 years, if I'm not wrong. But then now in last 1 year, I see that a lot of people are buying film cameras and they want to start shooting on film cameras, and they start buying reels and films. And now there are suddenly so many WhatsApp groups where they are selling these re-spooled films. Right? Everybody's re-spooling the films, and then they want to buy Potras, and they want to buy L-Fords, HP5s and Deltas. And it seems like that there's a new community of people, and then they just want to shoot on a film camera. But how do you see this market? Do you think this would be interesting?
Very interesting. In fact, you know why? Portrait, yes. Fine art, fantastic. You know why? Do you know why there is no value for digital fine art? Not so much.
Why?
Because I can duplicate it, no? डिजिटल फाइल है, जितना मांगता प्रिंट निकाल सकता हूँ. बराबर है. तो who will pay me big money for that? But print, once I printed it and larger, an analog print, or if I am more creative and I coat my own paper with either platinum print or cyanograph or whatever, cyanotype, sorry. So then what happens?
Value goes up.
$10,000, $20,000, $30,000 a piece. Well, that digital printer $1 और $1 में 100. So इतना गंदा मार्केट है वो, but IFT is of course doing a very good job, but even then analog makes money on fine art and portrait. If you bring it, I'm telling you, the top notch industrialists or the wealthy will line up. बिकॉज एक ज़माना में था कि उनका पेरेंट्स का पिक्चर्स लगते थे घर पे, लगाते
बड़े
थे
वाले
पहले,
लगते थे।
बड़े थे। आज किसके पास लगा है?
नहीं लगता
और वो बोलेगा वो सेल्फी वाला कौन लगाएगा, बकवास। Do you know what's the joke of the selfie? Have you ever seen anybody making selfie? They always doing like this. ऊपर हाथ करता है, बराबर? You're shooting on a wide angle lens. So what happens with the wide angle lens?
सब कुछ squeezed out हो जाता है।
Yeah, because when you take building का आप ऐसा करके लेते हैं तो बिल्डिंग ऐसी होती है, आप ऊपर से नीचे लेंगे तो ऐसा करता है, राइट? और ऊपर से जब लेते हो तो अपने आदमी को बौना भी बनाता है,
सब छोटा मोटा पतला सब बन जाता है आदमी।
एग्जैक्टली। बट यूँ नहीं सोचते कि नीचे बैठ, एक को घुटने पे बिठा, एक को खड़ा कर, ऐसा और फिर सामने से ले, सब इकट्ठा होएंगे, येड़े के माफक और ऊपर से करेगा, ओके? फिर वो करते करते वो डूंगर से नीचे गिर भी जाएंगे, मर भी जाएंगे ना। So we've seen so many cases where this kind of thing. So this is exact. You don't know. In India, I call our photographer friends and then like monkey see, monkey do. एक बंदर ने ऐसा किया, इसकी पूरा दुनिया चालू, without understanding why.
बट दुनिया उसी चीज़ की बनी हुई ना आज की डेट में।
तो वही तो है, वही तो बहुत मजा आता है, बहुत मजा आता है,
बहुत मजा आता है।
बट एट द सेम टाइम यू डू गेट पीपल उनसे, सर हमसे मिस्टेक हो गए, हमको समझ में नहीं आया कैसे किया, ऐसे ऐसा 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 कर, फिर देख क्या होता है। एंड देन दे गो एंड दे हैव द कर्टसी ऑफ गिविंग अ कॉल बैक एंड सर आपने सही बोला था, हो गया,
हो गया। चलो एटलीस्ट कुछ लोग हैं ऐसे,
कुछ लोग
समझदार
हैं, या कुछ लोग हैं, बट मोस्ट ऑफ द अदर गाइज दे आर्ग्यू विथ यू, नहीं ऐसे ही चोएंगा। The best part is, you know, if the guy doesn't know who I am, oh, there's a lot of fun.
Oh, they're fucking with you then, huh?
Oh, they're trying to teach me photography.
Wow.
You know?
Do you ever say them, don't teach your father how to fuck?
No, I'm not that rude. So I very quietly listen to the guy. I have a nice smile on my face. Then somebody tells me, "तू जानता किससे बात कर रहा है? कौन है?"
तेरा बाप है।
No, but after telling him my name, he says, "हाँ ते कौन?" मतलब he then has no idea about Girish Mistry Sir also. So, which also shows, is forget about my name. If fashion की बात कर रहे हैं, I talk to my fashion students. I get my Maharashtrian kids, okay, and I ask them, okay, fashion करायचं है ना, मतलब you want to do fashion, right? How? You know, fine. In Maharashtrian, you have different communities. बराबर है? CKP, छन्नो, बान्नो, मराठा, फिर क्या कोकण असतं भांबरेन एंड क्या कि होलसेल डिफरेंट, ऐसे हर कम्युनिटी में कौन सा मंगलसूत्र लगता है, कौन सी नथनी लगती है, नौवरी कौन सी लगती है, हाँ? फिर वो जो करते ना डॉट एंड लाइन जो लगा था टैटू जैसा, वो कहाँ होता है, कौन सा होता है, ईच वन ऑफ देम इज डिफरेंट. Nowhere is not one type. This one some 11-12 type का है, or maybe more. I'm not. The expert will tell you more. So the Maharashtrians look at me. ना मेरे को तो नहीं मालूम, मेरे को तो फैशन फोटोग्राफर तो स्वतः मतलब if you don't know your own culture, your own fashion,
you don't know.
Then how are you going to be a fashion photographer? I'm not saying it in a negative form. My thing is these guys are.
बस इतना ही सीखना है,
ऑब्जर्वेशन नहीं है,
ऑब्जर्वेशन
नहीं है कि भाई मेरी व्हाट इज माई ग्रैंड मदर वेयरिंग. आजकल भी ग्रैंड मदर स्टिल वेयरिंग, एग्जैक्टली
घर पे होता है, घर से स्टार्ट होता है,
तो कहाँ है,
वो दिखता ही नहीं कोई.
सो सेम थिंग हैपेंस इन गुजराती, सेम थिंग हैपेंस इन मारवाड़ी, सेम थिंग हैपन, ऐसा नहीं कि मारवाड़ी, इट्स इन ऑल ओवर द प्लेस, दे डोंट नो देयर ओन दिस थिंग. इन महाराष्ट्र, I don't know how many of the youngsters have even seen it, you know, but we have seen it because we've grown up in Maharashtra. I'm a Mumbaikar, right from childhood हम लोग इधर है, तो फिर क्या होएगा? I've seen Vasudev, I've seen Dombari, I've seen all. How many people do even understand what is Vasudev? You understand? Why? Exposure ही नहीं है,
किसी ने पढ़ाया नहीं है, बताया
किसी ने पढ़ाया नहीं. लाइकवाइज ये पूरा भारत में इतना ब्यूटीफुल चीज़ है देखने के लायक, अपना कल्चर से लेके द लिविंग स्टाइल, द हाउस इज ब्यूटीफुल, बट नोबडी इज ऑब्जर्विंग. आई वुड लव टू गो देयर एंड शूट, बट टुडे यू हैव स्टूडेंट्स हु एक्चुअली आस्क यू द क्वेश्चन, सर अगर मैं ये शॉट लेता तो मेरे को कितना पैसा मिलेगा? मैं बोला 0. if you are going to take a shot because you think you're going to make money, you're not going to make money.
That's true.
You're not going to make money.
I think photography pays
Handsomely,
but it takes time.
You have to have the passion.
You need a lot of patience and passion.
And you have to learn. You have to learn.
And you have to be an artist. You can't be a photographer. I just think that photographer to ban jata hai sab log, but for you to become an artist, your work has to be that ways, and then your experience has to be that ways, and plus it takes time. It comes over the period of time, and plus itne photographers aaj ke date mein, itne sare hain.
Yeah, because it's cheap, na?
Yeah.
It's cheap.
They have made it cheap. It's not supposed to be cheap.
It's not
supposed to be very expensive profession.
Exactly. So this is a pitfall which we have right now. And the softwares and hardwares are going to make it rougher and rougher and rougher unless they become experts of that.
True.
Those are beautiful softwares and hardwares that are coming out.
I feel that now the things, the way they are looking, it's looking very interesting, incredible for that matter of fact. Photographer actually, new photographers should learn how to use it properly. Might change their game.
It might,
and it might become expensive again, how it was earlier back then.
Absolutely, you can charge. So you can charge.
You can definitely charge.
I just told you, right? The two types of architect photographers. There's one guy who shoots for 10 grand and does 50 shots, and there's one guy who does one shot in 2 days or 3 days.
3 days.
But he's getting paid.
पैसा उसी का ही है.
पैसा उसी में, right? So the guy who knows the job, who's done a thorough study of it, they are making money. They are making money. Market has opened up again. We get response from people कहते हैं सर अभी धंधा वापस चालू हो गया है.
नहीं, लोग काम तो कर रहे हैं.
सॉलिड कर रहे हैं एंड अच्छा पैसे. इनफैक्ट द जोक ऑफ द सेंचुरी, कोविड के बाद क्या हो गया है, एक क्लाइंट के पास भी पैसा थोड़ा कम हो गया बिकॉज दे लॉस्ट आउट ऑन बिजनेस, दे लॉस्ट आउट ऑन जॉब्स एंड एवरीथिंग, राइट? सो नाउ दे वो पैसा फूक के खर्चा करता है, बराबर है? सो इवन इफ इट्स वेडिंग, तो वो क्या करेगा, आपको इंस्टाग्राम में देखेगा. So in Instagram, what will happen is that he will see the picture, he'll like the picture, he's going to give a call to the photographer, बराबर है? But then he'll tell the photographer, boss, हमको भी मालूम है, तुमको भी मालूम है कि तूने तेरा सबसे अच्छा पिक्चर इधर रखा है, तो ऐसा कर, तेरा लास्ट तूने जो 7-8 वेडिंग किया होगा ना, उसका एल्बम लेके आ.
देखता हूँ मैं फिर मालूम पड़ेगा.
Then I will decide. So what is happening is पैसा जो है, they wanted to be given to a person who will deliver a good job. Not just because somebody said मैं इतना में करना, मैं इतने में करना.
Client smart हो चुका है.
Client अभी smart हो चुका है. तो he wants to see a value for his buck, bang for his buck. So वो भी एक चीज हो रहा है in the market. But for that they either need to ship up, or what will happen is the shaft will automatically get destroyed, and those people who made a little effort to learn, they will come forward. They'll come forward. They'll make money for sure.
I hope that we are looking for a brighter future for photographers.
For sure.
Yeah.
कुछ भी कर लो, business करना है.
हाँ.
Business करना है. Not only us, the economy of the country depends on business. तो वो जो अगर करना है, तो you have to do promotions, you have to do advertising. It doesn't matter where. But one thing is for sure, there are lots of podcasts and things that we are seeing and YouTube and all other places where people are saying that social जो अपना marketing था, social media marketing is no longer that effective that it used to be.
Back then, yes, it is not.
Yeah?
True.
And maybe I'm old school, but in Shari, we insist on coffee table book. Because the gradings are done on the coffee table book. I mean, what they call a portfolio book, as well as the images that they put in the exhibition, and that is where the grading happens when professionals from outside come and grade it. Now, in COVID time, I did a lot of webinars with some of my most successful photographers. I think there were 32 or 33 webinars that are there on the Shari Academy Facebook page. Now, if you were to go, you'll have to have patience because they're all 1 hour plus. 2-3 of them, I think even 2 hours plus. So yeah, because when we started talking and the kind of questions that started coming from the public, and we had to answer them, and my students were answering them. So when you go through them, all of them have said that our insistence on printed portfolios has helped them make their careers.
Of course.
Okay, so if you want to work for an ad agency, if you want to work for a corporate, yeah, they want to see printed. They are not interested in your phone में तुम्हें ऐसा करेगा या लैपटॉप करेगा.
नहीं करेगा, काम नहीं आएगा वो सब.
उनको print देखना है. When they see a print and they say, okay, this guy knows how. Because print मतलब क्या? That guy is shot so that it looks good on print. Because we in Shari, we don't teach them to shoot for backlit. We teach them for frontlit. So we have to teach them the compression curve, which means the gamut which I told you for printing. जहाँ पे shadow में भी detail दिखता है, highlight में भी details दिखता है और grey tone तो होना ही होना. And most important, we make them print on CMYK. That means we don't give them the luxury of printing on a inkjet. Inkjet has got 10 colors, 12 colors. तो अच्छा दिखता है.
अच्छा दिखता है.
बराबर है. CMYK जो है इंडिगो का प्रिंट,
उसमें अच्छा दिखना चाहिए.
इसमें अगर वो सिक्सर मारा तो वही प्रिंट, वही फाइल तो आप इंकजेट में डालो,
मज़ा आ जाएगा.
एकदम जबरदस्त प्रिंट आएगा. बट इफ दे कैन गिव टेरिफिक प्रिंट इमेजेस ऑन अ CMYK, तो क्लाइंट ऑल्सो लुकिंग एट इट एंड CMYK में इतना अच्छा रिजल्ट दे रहा है, इसको अपना मीन्स ही नोज हिज जॉब. सो all of these students of mine have said that it has always opened the door, because most people when they go for, if there's a inquiry कि photographer required, तो सीधी बात है कि 5-6 जन पहुँचेंगे वहाँ पे. बट मेरा एक ही बच्चा है जो उधर पोर्टफोलियो लेके जाता है. बाकी सब वो अपना पान कैसे ऐसा करता है ना, चूना लगाने का, वैसे वो फ़ोन पे ऐसा बताता ना, that one. और if they're little richer, maybe they'll take a laptop and do it. But laptop again is backlit. Print is right there in front of you, you know. So then there is no problem कि भाई उसका कंप्यूटर की स्क्रीन का कलर क्या था, उससे कोई लेना देना नहीं. मुझे प्रिंट सामने कड़क दिख रहा है. So it has worked for us, my students basically. So I think the old school of photography, where you used to take the pains to, like if I have to make anybody look good, anybody, I can make them look good. Why? Because I know my techniques, I know how to do it. Plus I'm got a gift of the gab, I can make them person talk and make masti and do it and get a good shot happening. You know, one of the very weird exercise we make our students do is we tell them, बाहर जा, रास्ते से किसी को भी पकड़ के लेके आ, वो तू उसको कैसे बात करेगा वो तेरा प्रॉब्लम है, और उसको अंदर आके पोर्ट्रेट ले. बराबर. Why do I make them do it? Because Indian people are slightly introvert, डरते किसी से बात करने को. इसमें क्या है, ज़बरदस्ती उसको 10 जन से तो बात करना पड़ेगा. और फिर मैं एड़ा है, मैं रिजेक्ट करता हूँ 5 की, उसमें से 5-6 तो उसको वापस 5-6 करने को जाना पड़ेगा. सो इट ओपन्स दैट गाय अप.
That's a very good, interesting way of
making them. Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. We do it in a different manner, but this is exactly what is required. So either the photographer community gets very serious and come out of this pricing nonsense that they're doing, the softwares and hardwares are going to kill them in the future. Definitely.
That surely will.
That is going to happen.
Surely. Perfect. What an amazing podcast today.
Well, I hope.
Oh, it was interesting. I think we spoke about we touched upon in so many topics vaguely, differently. कभी यहाँ से वहाँ, यहाँ से अपन ने भागा है. It was a jump starter, but I think everybody who watches it, they will really connect with it, and it should be very good learning for all of them.
Well, I hope, because I come from a good space.
Yeah.
I want that photographers should succeed.
Okay.
You know, and most important, I want my photographers to have, most important is self-respect.
Self-respect.
जब तक वो अपने आप को रिस्पेक्ट नहीं करेगा तो मार्केट में कौन रिस्पेक्ट करेगा.
वो तो मैं बहुत बोलता हूँ, मतलब I don't know, many people when somebody says ना मैं तो बस फोटोग्राफर हूँ.
बस फोटोग्राफर तो क्या मतलब है यार.
It's a very big deal to be a photographer. Like I think you should be very proud when you say introduce yourself as a photographer.
Absolutely. See, difference ऐसा होता है. How you market yourself and how you place yourself is when you go to a corporate office. Now when you go to a corporate office, these are all baps. They're very rich, very capable people. And you walk into the office and then they get up and say, "Hello, Mr. Mistry." You feel so good.
Oh, yeah. It seems really nice, na?
Yeah, because they get up and they come forward and shake hands with you, you know. And you say the wedding guy and they say, "Hey, photo wala, idhar aa." This is such a big difference in the thing. So it only depends on how you presented yourself.
True. very true.
and how you market yourself. We even tell our wedding photography students, जब client से बात करता है तो ऐसा नहीं करना, this is defensive, है ना, मुंडी नीचे करके नहीं बात करने का, आँख से आँख मिला के बात कर. You know, as a child my mom taught me a lot. तो उसने मुझे बताया था कि जो how do you put it, गुजराती में था, okay, जो रोते हुए जाता है वो रोते हुए ही आता है.
Actually बहुत सही बात है.
You understand?
Yeah, I understand.
So it is as simple as that. Have faith in your talent, have faith in yourself, and then go and win the war.
True. Very true.
Nobody wins the war by putting his head down. How do you see your enemy?
That's true.
तो हम लोग गुजराती में बोलते हैं ना, हाथ ऐसा होना चाहिए, ऐसा तो भीख ही मिलता है.
सही बात है, भीख ही मिलेगा फिर.
भीख ही मिलेगा फिर. It's as simple as that.
Very true. All right. Perfect. Thank you so much, sir, for doing this. It was
A pleasure.
lovely having you. And
Well,
I hope you enjoyed talking.
No, I thoroughly enjoyed. I just hope that
I'm so
people
glad
take me in
that
the right perspective. That's all.
I'm so glad that you just spoke about everything, and it was really nice to have you. I didn't have to talk at all, and that's very, very, very important for us. Thank you so much for doing this with us.
Thank you.
And
Thank you
it's
so
lovely
much.
having you.
Yeah, pleasure, man.
All right, guys, we should take a off from here. Thanks.
ये कंटालिया मेरे जहाज.